Amazing for us, all the work and clips he showed. So yeah, it's definitely helped.
Ryan, we've got about 30 seconds. Windsor, back-to-back this weekend. I'm sure you're going to be sick of them by the end of Saturday night, one way or the other.
Yeah, I think especially our home opener, we played them, and I think we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder for this weekend. We get to play them twice, and kind of like, especially for younger guys like, well, I haven't even had a playoff game yet. So I think these games back-to-back against teams is really good to learn for playoffs, especially when you play teams 4 or 5 times in a row. I think this weekend will be a good test for us, especially against Windsor. It's a good team, and I think we'll have a good week of practice after Thanksgiving. We'll be good.
Good luck this weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Sting and the Spitfires Friday and Saturday. For Sting Buzz, I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us.
We are your TV. Connect with us. Your TV, truly local.
When I had achieved those 40 hours that you need to graduate high school, I didn't even realize it because I was having so much fun and having a fantastic experience working with a great crew and as well as serving my community.
Are you ready to think bigger, act bolder, and have more confidence? Get inspired by the women on Women Who Lead right here on your TV.
I've been waiting 5 minutes. I'm sorry,
Been coming here for about 5-6 years, and it's been really helpful to me.
This has been a godsend. I would be lonely if it wasn't for United Way.
Opening night put the Windsor Spitfires in flight to start the season, but not what the doctor ordered for the Sarnia Sting. Now these two West Division rivals battle once again in Sarnia. It's Rivalry Week. The Windsor Spitfires and the Sarnia Sting. Next on the OHL Tonight. From Sarnia, it's time for Ontario Hockey League action on this Friday night. A West Division showdown. The Windsor Spitfires in town to take on the Sarnia Sting. Hi again, everyone. I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us here on the OHL tonight. Opening night here in Sarnia saw the Windsor Spitfires hand the Sting an 8-1 defeat. Bexalton McKeish with 2 goals. Cole Davis with a hat trick, including 2 shorthanded tallies in that game. The Sting looking to bounce back. The Spitfires were shorthanded in that game with 6 players away at National Hockey League training camps. Lucas Fisher was away for the Sting in that one. Fisher is back. Spitfires are once again missing Captain Liam Greentree. He's serving the tail end of a suspension. Greentree eligible to return to the Spitfires lineup for tomorrow night's back end of this home-and-home between the Spitfires and the Sting. Spitfires also without J.C. Lemieux, and the local product here for Sarnia fans out of Corunna is John McLaughlin. He's banged up as well, so a couple injuries for the Spitfires. For the Sting, Alessandro Diorio's getting close to coming back, but not quite ready to return to action for the Sarnia Sting. Many NHL scouts keeping an eye on him when he's back, but they're keeping an eye on a matchup of 2 players who could be first-round picks and expect to be first-round picks in the National Hockey League entry draft next summer. Beckham Edwards of the Sarnia Sting and Ethan Belches of the Windsor Spitfires. Overall, let's take a look at the matchup for this game. You see the Spitfires red hot to start the year, 9-1-1 to start the campaign. The Sting 1 point away from being at the 500 mark. They last picked up that overtime loss point against the London Knights last Saturday night in downtown London. You see the numbers certainly lopsided towards the Spitfires side of the ledger, especially on their special teams action this year. A dangerous 35% on the power play, but also able to kill off penalties, taking care of their own zone at an 88% clip on the penalty kill. Joey Costanzo putting up strong numbers early on in the season, you see, with his 1.13 goals against average, 947. Save percentage, are pretty out of this world numbers for the veteran goaltender. Patrick Quinlan checks back in for the Sarnia Sting in this one. His first home start since he was knocked out in the game against Flint a couple weeks ago. Jack Nesbitt, the Sarnia product, a first-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers back in his hometown. Of course, he missed the opening game of the season as he was still with the Flyers. Jack Van Bolsen, the newcomer to the Sarnia Sting, really key on the power play, and he has 5 goals on the season. Of course, Van Bolsen played with the Steelheads and the Peets, but then came over to the Sarnia Sting in the offseason, really helping out on the man advantage and continuing on there. These two hockey clubs battling here in what they've deemed rivalry week in the Ontario Hockey League. Home and home games happening between natural rivals throughout the Ontario Hockey League. So indeed, the Windsor Spitfires and the Sarnia Sting, who play a total of 6 times all season, playing this back-to-back tonight here in Sarnia and tomorrow night in Windsor. A note for the Windsor Spitfires as well, they have the leading scorer in the Ontario Hockey League, but it's not necessarily who you would have chosen on your bingo card to start the year. Carson Woodall, with 15 assists, leads the Ontario Hockey League in scoring coming into this play, and it's just 15 assists, no goals on the season for the veteran defenseman, but able to really come up big and working that power play for the Spitfires with 15 points on the season. I talked to him earlier this week, and he said, hey, I would have been a little bit surprised if I was going to be the leading scorer in the OHL coming into past the mid-October mark, but obviously a lot of work around the Spitfires club and why they've been off to a hot start this year. The numbers definitely showing atop the list. As we said, Spitfires missing Greentree and Lemieux, but still a very deep club. McLaughlin out of the lineup as well, but lots of options for the Greg Walters and this Windsor Spitfires hockey club. For the Sarnia Sting, as you saw the record, 3-4-1 on the campaign. Dropped a game here last Friday night, picked up an overtime loss point in London back on Saturday night, looking for more here against the Spitfires. Spitfires and Sting will drop the puck coming up on the other side of the break. Live from Sarnia, you're watching the OHL tonight on your TV.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on your TV.
Are you ready to be inspired, empowered, and have more confidence? Hearing stories from women right here in Sarnia Lambton? Check out Women Who Lead, where we are featuring women that have done incredible things and continue to give back to our community. Tune in right here on your TV.
Hi and welcome to Auto Experts. I'm your host Kirk Robinson, owner of Robinson Automotive.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Hey buddy, I'm just making my way home now. I picked up some takeout. Not so many cars out, so I should be back soon. I know how much you like soggy egg rolls. I also stopped by George's place. Knows you're taking up baseball this summer, so he got you some stuff. We'll break that glove in this weekend. What do you say? He might have gotten you something else too. I guess you'll have to wait till I'm back. Love you, buddy. I'll be home soon.
Hi, I'm Ryan Brown with Sarnia Sting.
Brown follows up, he scores!
Join us for all 68 of our games this season, home and away, on the OHL Tonight on your TV.
Watch your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco.
Welcome back to Sarnia. Terry Doyle flying the ship solo tonight. It's the Sting and the Spitfires on this Friday evening edition. Rivalry week in the Ontario Hockey League. Let's take a look at our starting goaltenders. On your left, Joey Costanzo. You saw the numbers in the opening. 7-0 on the season for the Spits. Patrick Quinlan checks back in for the Sarnia Sting. Played with the U.S. national program the last couple of years. Out of the Philadelphia area originally, and now tending goal for the Sting. Was knocked out of action for a couple weeks, that collision with the Flint Firebirds when he was bowled over, and taking it easy, just a cautious approach. It'll be Costanzo and Quinlan in this one. The guys in charge of tonight, Connor Mallon and Curtis Parra, the referees, Justin Noble and Brock Perry on the lines. Welcome those of you joining us on your TV in Windsor as well this evening, as we've got Southwestern Ontario covered with the rivalry between the Sting and the Spitfires. Sent into the Windsor zone right off the draw. Cristoforo plays it around the boards. Belches hands it to Kennedy. Kennedy sends it into the Sarnia zone. Sting go back after it. Two Spitfires in on it as Belches looks to come away with it, battling there with Pickle. Still digging away, finally picked up here by the Sting and pushed into the zone by Bax. Costanzo moves it around to the near side. Harvey corrals it on the backhand, sends Reese back into his own zone. Reese content to ring it right around the boards to clear the zone. Costanzo will play it again. This time leaving it for the OHL leading scorer Woodall. To Sting, get miscommunication a little bit there with Manza and Kamzik. Beamish chips it into the zone. Woodall goes back after it. Woodall. Now Hicks. Hicks will chop it off the boards. Spellisy breaks out. Spellisy cuts across the grain, plays it to his left back here. Games with a chance, and Quinlan comes across to stop what is officially the first shot of the hockey game. 1 minute and 14 seconds into this one. As you see, Spellisy, the Chicago Blackhawks third-round pick, dropped it off, came back over here. Games looking to get the angle there on Quinlan, but the Sarnia first-year netminder comes across to hold on. Woodall gives chase off the draw. Looks to move it into Brocklehurst. Brocklehurst scored his first goal in this building on opening night. Van Volsen sends it cross ice. Ryan Brown looks to carry it forward here for the Sting. Watched closely by Woodall. Brown. Woodall goes down, opens up a little bit more room. Brown puts it on goal, and there's Costanzo to make the stop. Van Volsen hanging around in case there was any rebound to pop out, but none will pop out, and the faceoff will stay in the Spitfire zone to the left of Costanzo. There is Beckham Edwards, the potential NHL first-round pick. 4 goals, 6 helpers for 10 points coming into this one. Philadelphia first-round pick Jack Nesbitt wins the draw. Harvey looks to chop it out. Nesbitt has to help out as Fisher kept it in. Now it does just sneak over the line. Nesbitt gives chase, cut off by Fisher. Wallows goes cross ice. There's Mitch Young. Tried to clear it out. Harvey slowed it down. Spitfires up. Nesbitt with a quick chance wide of the net as he took the feed from Belches. Brown. Dumped in. Quinlan couldn't stop it. Backs right in front of his own bench. Wallows. Gets it back from Fisher. Easton Wallows. Backs. Here's Pickle trying to get a shot through traffic. It's in. Ben Pickle let the shot go. There was plenty of traffic between he and Costanzo, and Pickle able to find the back of the net. His second goal is a member of the Sarnia Sting. The home side opens the scoring. Sometimes you just put it on goal and good things happen. In this case, you'll see Pickle, and you'll see it really well from this angle. Look at all the traffic. Basically 3 bodies between Pickle and Costanzo. Costanzo didn't get a good look at it, and Pickle able to slide it in. I think the fans at that end of the rink, they knew it was in before everybody else. They saw it go in, everybody else was like just waiting for that reaction, and indeed, the Sarnia Sting have opened the scoring. Now Ryder Simpson plays it into the zone. Simpson playing his 4th game of the season. Layman's look to center, comes back here. Cameron, a coin shot steered away by Costanzo. Layman's a coin. Reese trying to get the shot through, partially blocked. Sting looked to go back after it. Spitfires the chance to clear. Dubowski couldn't get it out the first time. Now Spellisy looking for Dubowski, broken up by Layman's. Brenner Layman's, the Sarnia first-round pick from last spring, lets the shot go. Costanzo the shot, tried to follow up on the rebound, but was knocked away at the last moment. Cameron a coin, plays it right back into the zone. Edwards comes down along the left wing side, puts it behind the goal. Moved around there by Robinson. Spitfires carry it back out here. Davis, Cristoforo to play it in. Stopped behind the net by Quinn, looks to get it up on the glass. To get by the first line of the Spitfires players, and look out. Dangerous pass the Garden, almost intercepted instead. Ryan Brown lets the shot go. Looking to go top shelf just over the shoulder of Costanzo. Houston hurt. Chase back behind his own net. Davis on him with a hit and a little bit of a hold. And Spitfires looking to see if they can jump on it here. Sting. Caden a coin. Drops it back for Hurt. Now Brown head up out of his own zone. Gains the Windsor line, drops it to Van Volsen. He couldn't get it deep inside Windsor territory, so Belchez carries it back. Belchez off a Sarnia stick. Quinlan thought about clearing it himself. Instead, drops it off. Sting get crossed up a little bit here, and a chance for the Spitfires to go to work. Kennedy down into the corner. Nesbitt grabs it, looks to center in the slot. That one off a stick and cleared out. Up along the left wing side, Young. Handed off. Now Manza tried to break into the zone. Bumped by Kennedy. Woodall. Kamzik chipped it off the boards. Harvey right there to pick it up. Chance in front, and Nesbitt couldn't get the shot through. Young. Up ahead to Kamzik. Knocked off his stick. Dumped into the Sarnia zone. We've got an icing here against the Spitfires. 5:13 gone in this opening period of play. Sarnia with the lone goal of the night. Ben Pickle getting it for the Sting. Lots of high expectations for the Windsor Spitfires this season. And so far, playing out with their 9-1-1 record on the campaign. Bax and Pickle there off the draw. Pickle's goal, his second from Bax and Wallows at 2:23. Got the Sarnia Sting on the board in this one. Woodall finds Nesbitt. Trying to work his way in there. Nesbitt with a chance. Quinlan the stop, centered in front of the net. And Quinlan had to go off him, and then Pickle had to be careful with it. Reese out of Suburban Buffalo, a coin. Played into the zone, Bax gives chase. Walton is there for it. Hicks grabs it. Games. Chips it out, McKeish trying to get it around Hurt. McKeish continues on after it in the Sarnia corner. McKeish, 2 goals here opening night, now knocked to the ice by Hurt. Backs will chip it out. Sarnia will make a change here. 6:15 gone in the opening period. Dumped back in by Windsor. Caden Aucoin. Van Volson looks for Brown. Brown chips it ahead, trying to get an angle as Jonathan Brown, no relation, takes him into the corner. Sting captain Lucas Fisher on it. Fisher played it in. Van Volson did not touch it, so icing against the Sarnia Sting. Sting lead by 1 here live in Sarnia.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on your TV.
Across the nation, the Canadian Hockey League is known for investing in moments like this. But did you know we're also investing in this? Through the CHL Scholarship Program, clubs award nearly $10 million each year. The CHL, developing tomorrow's leaders.
The OHL tonight on your TV, brought to you by Stokes Inland Grill and Bar, just down the road from the rink over on Lambton Mall Road. Cole Davis and the Windsor Spitfires looking to even up this game. Shots early 4-3 in favor of the Sting. Shots on goal brought to you by Batter Bus. Young moves it up to Van Volson. Fisher trying to creep in there from the defensive side as well. Brown works it to this near corner, drops it there. Van Volson with a quick chance. Denied in front, lots of traffic in front of Costanzo. Now Young goes cross ice onto the stick of Fisher, who gives it back to Young. Young, Van Volson, played it down low. Edwards looking to scoop it up. Fisher, down into Brown. Sting getting time in the offensive zone here. Now the outlet to Fisher. Fisher spins back of the point, hands it off to Young. Young right along the ice, steered away by Costanzo. Young goes airborne to keep it in play. Young, quick chance, Fisher scores! Lucas Fisher with the one-time blast. That's his first goal of the season. The Sting open up a 2-0 lead. Some good work here by the Sting to keep it in the zone. Brown did some really good work. Then it goes back here to Young. Young waits and then just puts it on a tee for Fisher. And the Sting captain finds the back of the net. He had 6 assists coming into this one. Now he has his first goal in game number 7. So 7 points in 7 games after coming back from the St. Louis Blues camp. And the home side opens up the 2-0 bulge. Stopped to the line by Games. The Sting tried to clear it out. Belchez looking to work his way out of there. Belchez scores! What a beauty! Ethan Belchez worked his way out of the corner and then buried it upstairs. Windsor Spitfires get on the board in this one. Great solo effort here by Ethan Belchez. You'll see the work along the boards. Belchez eventually able to dig it free and then gets himself just a little bit of space. And upstairs. That's why he's going to be a National Hockey League early first-round pick. The Spitfires cut the deficit to 2-1 on a pretty goal by Ethan Belchez. Of course, came to Windsor as the first overall pick in the OHL priority selection. Welch has his 9th goal already this season. Hurt. Layman's dumps it into the Windsor zone. So not even halfway through the opening period, already 3 goals on the board. Layman's looking for more here. Layman's shot, Costanzo, that stop. Still rolls back towards the blue paint. Both teams looking for it, battle there. Carson Hall the closest to get a shot through, but couldn't get much on that. Robinson plays it behind the Sarnia net. Quinlan leaves it for Fisher. Layman's backhanded cross ice. A little bit of a dangerous play there as McKeish was hanging around. Delayed offside for a moment against the Spitfires. They did check up. Fisher tried to go left wing side. Spitfires look to slow that one down. Davis pushes it over the line. McKeish chips it out, stopped there by Walton, who hands it off to Woodall. Played back in the Sarnia zone. Quinlan had to be careful with that with McKeish creeping in. Clearing attempt goes off of Harvey, scooped up by Davis. Davis reverses behind the net. There's the outlet for Walton. It's blocked. Right back onto the stick of Davis. Woodall. Poked away by Kamzik. Kamzik trying to get away. Stumbled a little bit. That allowed Walton a chance to come back. And then Davis with the hit on Kamzik caught him up a little high. As Walton plays it back to Davis. Now Walton look to work to the front of the net. Quinlan the stop. And the Sting netminder pounces on that as we've got some discussions happening, and sticks up, gloves up, and not a surprise when we get the Sarnia Sting and the Windsor Spitfires together. We get a decent number of post-whistle scrums. Looks like nothing more will come out of this. See the chance by Walton driving to the net, and then everybody else coming in with a little discussion. Face off to the right of Quinlan. Won by the Spits. Belches blasts that one wide of the net right off the draw. Set play there by Windsor, but Belches wasn't able to get it on goal. Brown. Kennedy goes back after it for Windsor. Cristoforo chips it off the boards. Nesbitt trying to dig it free. Now Nesbitt. Edwards. Bouncing there. Belches and Nesbitt go to work. Belches hands it off for Nesbitt. Nesbitt waiting for the trailer. It's going to be the defenseman Kennedy. Kennedy tried to play it towards the front of the net. Blocked by Sarnia. Spellacy rounds out the forward unit here for Windsor. Spellacy after it, but the Sting defenseman able to move it out. Costanzo had a bounce over his stick. Garden hands it off, looking for Spellacy. It rolled away from him. Pickle not able to scoop it up. Costanzo looks one way, decides to drop it off to the near side. Spellacy looks to squeeze through the traffic, broken up just past Brocklehurst. Sting give it up. Spellacy backs. Got a little piece of Spellacy. Spellacy back after it again, now around here to Hicks. Hit there by Pickle. Hurt. Ahead at center ice. Backs had trouble with it. Spellacy had it go past him. Brocklehurst dumps it in. Spitfires will make the change. Woodall goes to work. Broken up by Simpson. Pickle, one of Sarnia's 2 goal scorers, hands it back to Young. Young makes a move. He walks in with a shot. Just ends up wide of the net. Young along this near side sets up Fisher. And this time Costanzo puts a glove on it. And now it's Sarnia trying to get something going in front of the Windsor net. Some good work there by Mitch Young. Was on the right wing side. Next thing you know, was over along the near point. Sting getting a chance, and looks like Carson Woodall needs a little repair on the helmet, but you'll see Young was on the right. Next thing you know, he's over here on the left setting up Fisher, who just puts the quick one-time shot on goal, looking to see if enough traffic would make things difficult for Costanzo, but he was able to cleanly handle it. Beamish and Nesbitt on the draw. Beamish will be thrown out of the circle. Looks like Kamzik's going to lean in here. Kamzik scored his first career OHL goal in London on Saturday. Now Beamish looking for one here. Blocked by Walton. Young, the outlet to Fisher. Manza plays it into the near corner. Kamzik leaned on by Brown. Quick chance by Beamish, that's blocked. Belchez on the block that time. Fisher over to Young. In there, may have been deflected by Beamish on the way through. Costanzo able to make the adjustment and once again hold on to that one. Of course, Costanzo originally a second-round pick of the Niagara Ice Dogs before coming over to Windsor a couple years ago. Michael Newlove got the start in this building back in September when these two teams played. Ethan Garden off to a strong start. 4 goals, 10 points on the year. Here's a coin with a quick chance, and that's denied by Costanzo. Reese, right in front. Set up there was Hall. The deflection knocked away. Shots 11-5 in this opening period in favor of the Sting, who lead by 1. Costanzo gives to Robinson. Now Spellisy got it to center ice, tried to continue on. Sting on that one. Kennedy along the near side. Costello hit by 2 Sting, but Garden lets the shot go. Just wide on the stick side of Quinlan. Spellisy. Watched by Reese. Those two go down to the ice. Opens up a bit of room here for the Sting. Cameron a coin through center ice. Van Volsen negates the icing. Costanzo wasn't able to play the puck. It stayed outside the legal area. McKeish skated a little bit, able to recover now. Quinlan rings it around the boards. Van Volsen waits for it. Onto the stick of Brown. Ryan Brown. Caden Aucoin jumps on it. Caden Aucoin has looked good in his rookie season here at the Sarnia Sting, but still looking for his first point on the Sting blue line. Sarnia's second-round pick last spring. Belchez plays it back to Cristoforo. Woodall. He and Cristoforo crisscross. Cristoforo jumps on it. Now Spitfires going to work in the offensive zone. Played back here to Woodall. Woodall dumps it into Cristoforo. Cristoforo in the circle looking for an opening. Belchez was parked in front of the net. He and Caden Aucoin got tied up. Now Brown breaks out with a breakaway. Here's Ryan Brown walking in, tried to go to the backhand, and just lost the handle at the last moment. And the Sting still lead this one 2-1.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on your TV.
After retirement, there's still a lot of stuff to do. I think my favorite part of hosting is that it gives back to our community. It certainly gives a really good feeling to be able to do something like that.
Sarnia Sting are looking to see if they could regain their 2-goal lead. And a glorious chance here. You'll see a little flub at the blue line. Ryan Brown was away, had the breakaway, and then just as he tried to go to the backhand, just didn't quite get control that he wanted. The poke check by Costanzo, and Brown ended up in the net. Faceoff will come outside since it was Brown who knocked it off himself and not able to score. Spitfires control off the draw. Walton. Broken up by Bax. Bax up towards Pickle. Bax on it again. Watched by Walton. Drop to Fisher. Young kicks it into the corner as he was having difficulty getting it to his stick. Back there to Fisher. Pickle tries to come out of that corner. Fisher. Here's Wallows looking to get it on goal. Comes back towards Wallows. He and Nesbitt battle the floor, and Nesbitt comes away. Games. Back for Nesbitt. Now Games trying to work his way to the front of the net. Broken up there by the Sting. Fisher with the outlet to Bax. Bax. Fisher trying to squeeze past Kennedy. Brown. Nesbitt fanned on it. Cameron Acoin jumps back into the play. Acoin looking for Kamzik. Missed him on that chance. Jacob Reese on it. Cameron Acoin handing it to Manza. Spitfires back in their own zone. Brown lifts it out to center ice. Acoin just dumps it right back in. Garden tried to squeeze past to Sting, and he does. Garden on that left wing looking for Dabowski. Kennedy right along the ice, broken up just before it got to Quinlan, and that allowed the Sting netminder to grab it and hold on. We'll see a little bit more physical play, I'm sure, by the time this weekend is done. These two teams will be a little sick of each other for at least the next little while. Sure, lots of people doing the dual screen thing here tonight, so lots happening in the sports world. A little OHL action on one screen, a little American League Championship Series with the Blue Jays on the other. Of course, I know lots of Windsor people are more Tigers fans. Of course, the Tigers not able to get past the Seattle Mariners. Here comes Edwards. Beckham Edwards, fans on the shot. Ryan Brown scoops it up. Brown works around the Windsor zone. Van Volson was dumped in the slot by Robinson, and now Cristoforo hit Harvey with the clearing attempt. Cristoforo played into the opposite corner. Davis drops it back to Belchez. Belchez trying to wrap it in front of the net. Quinlan was ready for that one. Brown has to be careful as he had Games right there behind him. Able to continue on and dump it into the Windsor zone. Ryan Brown goes for the change. Nesbitt drops it off. Robinson beats Cristoforo, goes back to Robinson. Approaching a minute and a half to go in the opening period. 2-1 Sarnia. Cristoforo. Belchez trying to dodge the check there of Pickle. Cristoforo steps up through center ice. He'll dump it in before going to the bench. Final minute of the opening period. Sees the Sting leading this one by a goal. Kamzik. Backs. Young set himself up for the drop pass. Now Bax will play it down low. Kamzik trying to fend off the checks of both Garden and Woodall. And Spellacy starts out. AJ Spellacy out of Ohio. Hit along the boards by Young. Dubowski goes back after Young with a little retaliatory check. Beamish trying to dig it out of the scrum in the corner. Woodall watching Beamish. He drops it off to Reese. Reese puts it back down low. A dozen seconds to go in the period. Centered in front of the net, just wide as Hall got a stick on it. Broken stick out there, one of the Spitfires without a blade. Cameron Aucoin couldn't get it on goal, and that's going to do it for the opening period of play. A spirited first period here in Sarnia sees the Sting go to the room with a 2-1 lead on the Windsor Spitfires after 20 minutes of play. Stay tuned. Our first intermission is coming up next. Live from Sarnia, you are watching the OHL tonight on your TV.
Hi, I'm Ryan Brown with Sarnia Sting.
Brown follows up, he scores!
Join us for all 68 of our games this season, home and away, on the OHL Tonight on your TV.
Have an event coming up? Need help spreading the word? Reach your community through Your TV. Promote your nonprofit event for free on TV and online. Visit yourtv.tv for details. Your TV, truly local.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. You don't have to be a veteran to join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our Member Perks program will save you thousands on shopping, dining, products, and services across the country. Join us at legion.ca.
Maybe you've heard that the only people who shop at Habitat Restore are contractors. But actually, many of our customers are homeowners or renters, DIY enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or anyone looking for that great deal on a unique find.
I'm Matthew Winquist.
And I'm Michael Petwine.
Join us on Game Night on your TV. On Game Night, we teach and play a new board game every episode.
And of course, games are more fun with friends, so this time we're bringing some of our own to explore a wider variety of games. So be sure to check it out on your TV.
We'll catch you there. I'm Matthew Winquist.
And I'm Michael Petwine.
Join us on Game Night, where we teach and play a new game every episode.
Games are more fun with friends, so this time we're bringing some of our own, so check us out on your TV.
Welcome back to Sarnia. Sting lead the Spitfires by 1 after 20 minutes of play. Here's Jack Nesbitt joining me here. What adjustments do you guys have to make in the second, down by 1?
Yeah, I mean, I just think we're giving up too much shots. They had 12 shots there. We're not used to that. We're usually pretty low most games, but I think we just got to stay to our systems and just move the puck to where we see a guy open. I think we're just throwing the pucks away a little bit too much, but just keep putting the puck deep and go to work.
Do you find a little bit, and this word would sound under you, but they're playing a little pesky in the first period, just being in the lane, and you guys thinking you could go through, and there's always a stick there, or just somebody there?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they started pretty well, and I think we just gotta keep playing our game. Like I said, we came out a little bit slow, so I think if we keep going, we'll be good.
I know it's the question you always get asked, but when you come back into this building, lots of familiar faces, lots of familiar, I'm sure you look around, you spot that face and that face, you never know being a Sarnia guy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, during World Cup, I got a lot of people here, so a lot of pucks to be thrown over the glass and a lot of candy handed to me, so it's always fun, but I enjoy it. So
I see a Windsor 71 jersey trying to take a picture of you during this interview, of course. Yeah. How was the experience with the Flyers?
Really good. I mean, they treat everyone really well. The whole staff, even all the players there, they're all great. And I got to get to got to get really close with them. Went back in the summer for a few weeks, stuff like that. So it was really fun, and I'm going to enjoy it there.
When you go through it, you stumble maybe upon the video from LA and from the theater when they made that announcement. It still give you chills?
100%, every time. Every time I look at it, just seeing my mom, my dad, my brother. My brother was probably the most hyped, so that's pretty cool. But no, it was a great experience, and I would definitely do it again.
We'll let you get back to the room with the guys. Good luck in the second period.
Thank you very much.
Our Sarnia native Jack Nesbitt joining us here. After one period of play, the Sarnia Sting lead the Spitfires by 1 on the OHL tonight on your TV.
My name is Rick Alexander. I'm a volunteer with Seaway Kiwanis, and part of that allows me to be host of TV Bingo for Your TV. At Your TV, there's a lot of opportunity to pitch and actually host your own show. I think you might find that this experience would be enjoyable and would give you a whole bunch of new skills that you probably didn't think you had.
What I really love about volunteering at Lambton Elderly Outreach is working with a lot of different volunteers from different backgrounds. And when I go out to the social clubs and fitness classes, is seeing how much that really means to the people in the community.
Join us right here on Your TV for In the Studio with me, your host, Mark Tatro, where we go behind the scenes with musicians from all across Sarnia Lambton, talking about music, writing, recording, stories from the road, and so much more right here on Your TV.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on Your TV.
My time in the OHL allowed me to prepare for life as a professional hockey player at a young age. The development opportunity players are provided by playing in the OHL is unrivaled. Support systems teams have in place help players immensely once they get to the next level. With the coaching, skill development, facilities, and attention the OHL provides, I believe it is the best hockey development league in the world.
YourTV.tv is our online home. Find videos, our broadcast schedule, community events, and how you can get involved in your local channel. Visit YourTV.tv. We are truly local.
Your Cogeco OHL Player of the Week is Jake O'Brien of the Brantford Bulldogs. Through 3 games last week, the Seattle Kraken prospect had 4 goals and 3 assists, including a goal and 2 assists in a 6-0 win for the Bulldogs over the Sudbury Wolves. He then matched a career-high 5 points at 3 goals and 2 assists in an 8-5 win over the Ottawa 67s. A great week for the 8th overall Kraken draft pick and 18-year-old Toronto native. Your Cogeco OHL Player of the Week, Jake O'Brien.
Welcome back. We are in studio with a pair of Sarnia Sting forwards, Ryan Brown, Jack Van Volson joining us here. And Jack, first time joining us here in the studio. Obviously, first part of the season here with the Sarnia Sting. Let people in a little bit. Where's home, and where did travel to a couple teams before coming to the OHL and before coming to Sarnia? But give us the history lesson on Jack Van Volson.
Yeah, well, from Brooklyn, Ontario. Just a smaller, suburb of Whitby. I got drafted to Peterborough, stayed there it was very short-lived. Got traded as a 16-year-old at the deadline, and then spent 2.5 seasons with the Steelheads. Now I'm here for my 4th year, so it's been a journey.
What about even before that? Because I know, minor, you played some around that Whitby, Brooklyn area, but then also headed into the GTHL.
Yeah, so I played Whitby pretty much like the whole way up until minor midget. And then I played with the 05s, and then for their draft year, it was COVID, so we didn't really have a season or anything. And then for my draft year, I went into the I went to the G and played with JRC. Some of my best buddies that I went to school with actually were on that team, so they kind of take credit for doing the most of the convincing to get me there. We had an awesome team that year, and a lot of notable names. So
I will do some translating for people at home. G is the Greater Toronto Hockey League. If you watch the show enough, you've heard it before. And then JRC with the Junior Canadians. There, just did a little translating for you. So I guess that was a case where, because I was going to ask why the move, but it sounds like you had a lot of guys that you knew and you were pretty tight with already making that move. So the group you kind of all sort of joined together.
Yeah, so my buddies were Anthony Cristoforo, who plays on Windsor, and then one of the goalies was Paul Lafrasca. He's out in the BCHL this year, but I went to school with them since grade 7, and Anth played JRC his whole life, and our coach actually, Daniel Siska, who played here, had a 100-point season, and I see his name on the banner every day. So I mean, they kind of convinced me, and I knew a couple guys that I played with spring hockey and stuff like that before, and then I knew Porter Martone. We played against each other in the OMHA, and then I found out he was going there as well. And then Henry Muse I played with when I was younger, so there was 4 or 5 of us that kind of got recruited in for that year, and we had lots of fun.
Had lots of fun. What about, what's it like, playing Whitby versus going there, just in terms of for practices and games? Is it much different in terms of the drive?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit. I mean, Whitby, it's 15, 20 minutes down to Iroquois for practices. But with JRC, I was actually kind of lucky. We practiced in Vaughan, so it was only 35 minutes. And then the days we did have a longer practice, I was lucky enough to stay with Anthony at his house, and his family took great care of me on 1 or 2 nights a week. So it all worked out really well.
Now, your name, for people who've been around the OHL for years, the last name will be familiar to some people. You got a little family lineage that has been around the OHL.
Yeah, so my dad and his brother Joe both played. My Joe won he was really lucky, and won a Memorial Cup with the Sioux Greyhounds when he was I think he was a rookie that year. He was only 16, so he still talks about that. It's such a cool experience for him. And then my dad played. He played in Niagara for his first 2 years, I believe, and then got traded to Plymouth, and then finished in Belleville. So it's kind of funny that all the teams he played for don't exist anymore.
Yes, the old Niagara Falls teams, exactly. There's a little trend there with Plymouth and Belleville.
And then they were both lucky enough. My dad's last 2 years, and I believe my uncle's last year, they actually played together in Belleville. So it was good for my grandparents, and they got to watch them play together. And my dad always says it was super cool to play with his brother. So yeah.
Do they always say, back in my day, or talk about how the league has changed since they played?
Oh yeah, I mean, even just my dad obviously likes to come to the games, tries to make it to as many as he can. Just the rinks and how much they've changed. Because in Niagara Falls they played in a different rink than what's there now, and even in Oshawa, they grew up in Oshawa, so it's always cool when I play in Oshawa just because it's so close to home and that's where they played. So they talk about it all the time. Back in my day.
Let me guess how much they probably talk about all the fights too that happened a little bit differently back then.
Yeah, he just kind of says it was a different world back then with on the ice, off the ice, but
yeah, a little different world from that standpoint. Yeah. Ryan, 3rd year here. Is time flying for you already?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. I think looking back, it feels like yesterday I was just getting drafted and coming here for the first time and moving into my billets, and now it's my 3rd year. Been here for a while. I'm getting a lot older. I think it's a little bit different seeing all the new, all the 09s come in. That was me 3 years ago. I think it definitely is, and kind of going a lot quicker than I thought.
Is there anything that you know now that you wish somebody told you back when you first walked in the door?
Maybe not something too specific. Just I don't know. I can't think of anything too. If I knew
Or what do you know now that you didn't know then? Is in terms of, did you find maybe when you came in, just that maybe nervousness of coming to the OHL and maybe the speed of the game, and then as you get more experience, the game kind of slows down? I don't mean get slower, but slows down a little bit because you get used to it more?
I think that 100%, playing in London Saturday night, I think preseason we played there a ton of times my first year, and we played them all the time. Comparing last Sunday's game or Saturday's game to my first year, I think playing in that big crowd, playing against teams like Windsor and those big arenas like Kitchener, I think it was a lot more scared and timid in my first year, especially the new guys this year. I kind of was in their shoes and see how they play out there. It's sometimes a little bit overwhelming, but I think as time's gone on now, especially, I'm a lot more comfortable and confident in those big rinks and big crowds.
Have your game day routines changed at all since you first walked in? Or is it the same thing all the time?
It's been pretty much the same thing. Get to the rink around 4 o'clock and do all my stuff, tape my stick, stretch, whatnot. So it's been the same, but more what I eat, I think I've changed a lot of my pregame meals.
Not, so I'm sure probably back to, when you're a rookie or even a minor, probably some of those meals would probably look back now, they go, yeah, that'd be like a cheat meal now.
Yeah.
What is your go-to? What's your, other than obviously just had Thanksgiving weekend, say in the summer, it's cheat meal day. What are you having?
A good pizza.
What's on the pizza?
Cheese, pepperoni, banana peppers, anything really other than like pineapples. I don't like pineapples.
I was going to say, when you bring up pizza, that has to be a rule. No pineapple.
No pineapples.
Okay, so we'll get to your cheat. So, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Cannot have pineapple on pizza. What is on your pizza if you've got to?
I'm just a straight like pepperoni guy. Yeah, or like a meat lover. Just like keep it simple.
Yeah, none of that green vegetable kind of stuff on the pizza. The banana peppers would be a little colorful, but other than that, no other green stuff or anything on there.
No.
What's your cheat?
I'd say similar, probably like a nice pizza or like a big burger or something like that.
What's on the burger?
Probably just like cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, ketchup. Pretty simple.
Nowadays, it seems the modern shopping experience is made for those who know exactly what they're looking for. But where's the discovery, the inspiration, the treasure hunt? Instead, what if you could find that special item at a great price, help save the environment, and make a lasting impact in your community?
You all set?
Well, now you can. Shop, donate, volunteer at your local Habitat Restore today.
You've heard of movies and chill, but do you know about Sarnia's latest trend? It's TV Bingo and Chill. Join in the fun with Seaway Kiwanis TV Bingo. You just never know when your lucky numbers might come up. Have an event coming up? Need help spreading the word? Reach your community through Your TV. Promote your nonprofit event for free on TV and online. Visit yourtv.tv for details. Your TV, truly local.
Volunteering for Your TV is unique because there's not a whole lot like it in Sarnia Lambton.
I like being a volunteer because it gave me an opportunity to learn about behind-the-scenes aspect of TV, which is really cool.
Picking a favorite thing when it comes to volunteering is difficult, but I do like the fact that every time that I go out and I volunteered, I give something back to my community.
Watch Your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco.
When I do becomes I'm done.
Talk to the family law experts at Drake Law. Divorce doesn't have to be a fight, but when there's a lot at stake, call Drake. DrakeLaw.ca.
In that opening period, including that beauty by Ethan Belchez. Before that, Ben Pickle scored his second goal of the season. Backs and Wallows get the helper on that at 2:23. Then Lucas Fisher, his first goal of the season. Of course, now in his 7th game after coming back from the St. Louis Blues. Fisher the goal, then Belchez picked up the goal to round things out. The Fisher goal was assisted by Young. Belchez announces unassisted, so that's your scoring after one period of play. Shots 12-7 in favor of the Sarnia Sting in the opening period. Shots on goal brought to you by Batter Bus. Life's a journey. Get on board. As Jack Nesbitt said, if you saw our interview at the start of the intermission, that Spitfires need to just kind of get back to playing their game a little bit, giving up too many shots and keeping it simple. And in the booth, very pleased to be joined by a special guest, Josh Sweetland, the Director of Communications for the Ontario Hockey League, dropping in. Good to see you. good to, I think we've seen you in Sarnia. You know, it seems like about once a year you get a chance to make the tour of the rinks. You spent a lot of time here during the Western Final a couple of years ago, but I'm sure it's always nice to be back in the Hive.
League and see the folks that I'm privileged to work with every week here in the Ontario Hockey League, and a lot of hardworking people, not only in hockey ops but also in front offices and business staffs across the league. It's
certainly a busy time around the OHL. How did Rivalry Week come together?
You know what? I'll give a lot of credit for our new commissioner Brian Crawford, who he was a real driving force behind this, and just a way to kind of dial up the intensity a little bit here as we get the season reaching its quarter mark.
Certainly, we've seen a lot of interesting matchups around the league. Peterborough, Oshawa, London, Kitchener, you name it, across the OHL. And, of course, the Southwestern Ontario rivalry between the Windsor Spitfires and the Sarnia Sting. Face-off not done fairly here to start the period. They weren't ready to go, so they'll put the fresh 20 back on. Josh is going to hang out with us a little bit during this second period, and we'll chat during some of the breaks as things happen. But now we'll officially get the second period underway. Sting will control it off the draw. Fisher plays it up along the near side, but out of play. You're a guy who certainly sees a lot of hockey, and I'm sure year in and year out, it's a lot of fun seeing what goes on and the stars that come through the OHL.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate to grow up watching the Ontario Hockey League, always had a love for the league, and now, working in it every day, it's a lot of fun. There's always something new, and it's great to get out and see games like this.
Seeing these players, we get a chance to see the names that come through the league that I always say you could have paid $20, $25 to watch them in the OHL, or pay about $250 to watch them now.
Most certainly. It's a real privilege, and it's great to see guys in small markets and in your hometown.
The hometown Sting looking to see if they can regain the 2-goal lead. Cristoforo back for it here for the Spitfires. Cristoforo and Jack Van Volsen, the Sting, were minor hockey teammates, and now getting a chance to play against each other in the Ontario Hockey League once again as Nesbitt and Wallows get all tangled up. Chipped in by Pickle. Here's Bax. Dropping it, but the Sting were starting a defensive change. So it comes all the way back to Quinlan. Young. Woodall. Taken into the corner. Manza looking to work his way out. Now dumped all the way into the Sarnia zone. And icing against the Windsor Spitfires. You wanted to come into the booth as well because you could see a hockey game and a baseball game at the same time. A little dual screen. I said it in the first period. There's dual screen stuff going on. There's dual screen going on in the booth.
Terry, I got to say I'm impressed with your ability to multitask. I mean, of course, not a game anybody wants to miss. This Toronto-Seattle series has been gripping, but my first priority will always be the Ontario Hockey League. But kind of cool to see this double-barrel action tonight.
Let's put it this way. I've got 2 screens of OHL, this game, and the game in front of me, and 1 screen of the Jays game. So got a little bit of everything going here. As Woodall carries it in here. Is Davis looking to build up speed. Davis with a chances bounced over his stick. Cole Davis, the Cogeco OHL Player of the Week to start the season after a big performance here on opening night. I believe you guys dubbed him Goal Davis after that.
Goal Davis, that's right.
Woodall. Hicks along the right wing side. If you're watching us around Sarnia and looking for John McLaughlin, he is out of the lineup with an injury for the Spitfires, the local product out of Corunna, the first-round pick of the Spitfires. Hoping to be back soon. Kamzik carried it in, but Beamish was caught inside the line on the offside. I know, Josh, your team among the communication side, you've got a team, a lot of the content people see on the OHL website, see it on social media, lots happening, and I'm sure a lot of fun content you're able to put out as well.
Yeah, we've got a really talented group at the league office, and there's so many ways to tell the story of the Ontario Hockey League. Fortunately, I have some folks who are, a great deal younger than me with some creative juices and some great ideas that we've been fortunate to have on board.
Certainly some great content and some behind the scenes, you name it, whether it's in the preseason right through to the Memorial Cup, following along with the OHL champion at the Memorial Cup, and you name it throughout the season, as Quinlan able to hold on to that. Cheer in the background as they just updated the Blue Jays score for the folks here in the rink as well. So needless to say, fans keeping an eye on a little bit of everything here tonight. And 2-1 in Seattle, 2-1 here in Sarnia.
And the Sting off to a good start tonight. Obviously, took in that first period. They were getting in lanes. They were making it tough on the Spits, who, as we know, are off to a great start this season.
Ben Pickle, of course, opening the scoring for the Sting, and then Lucas Fisher. So the veteran captain and the newcomer overager who came over from the Kingston Frontenacs with Pickle is Caden Aucoin. Has it bounce over his stick. Hurt. Up here, Van Volson reaches out for it, and it goes in, and another icing call. And, rhyming off some names, Aucoin, Van Volson, it's interesting to see the pedigree of these players coming into the OHL who's have had family members, fathers, older brothers, you name it, come through the OHL. I'm sure, when the new crop comes in every year, we hear these last names, Josh, and you're like, yeah, here we go. We got another group.
I feel a little bit older every time I see another name of, a guy whose dad I watched as a child at the London Ice House.
When Max Domi came into the league, I think that was one of the first ones for me. It was like, yeah, I saw Ty Domi play when I was at Peterborough as a youngster. Watched him a lot in the penalty box.
Yes.
Jonathan Brown shot blocked. Lots of stories, and that one dumped into the bench. And, of course, Jack Van Volson of the Sarnia Sting, his uncle and his dad, Joe and Mike, played in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yeah, as we know, the OHL's changed a lot over the years. Joe and Mike, a bit of a different league back then in those days in the 90s. Obviously, a bit of a different pace, some very different buildings. Same great league, though. Lots of tradition.
Jack and I were talking, you saw it at the intermission when we had he and Ryan Brown in the studio, and that's exactly, I said, yeah, my dad and my uncle talk about the old days of the OHL, and certainly a lot of differences, but the games continue to grow, and the skill just comes out in waves.
And just, the evolution of franchises. It's interesting to see how the brands change over the years, the looks and jerseys and uniforms and branding. It's all very fascinating to follow along with.
Well, and we think we're getting old, so we got the chance to see some of the old barns. In Oshawa, for example, with the low ceiling, and as you mentioned, the London Ice House.
And the Windsor barn.
Yeah, of course.
Who could miss that one?
There's a chance for the Sting out in front of the net as Wallows had it bounce off his stick. Young, knocked down by Cristoforo. Wallows comes over with a shot for Cristoforo. Belchez tells him to go away as Bax looks to center. Kept in by the Sting. Fisher, shot deflected wide. Lifted high out to center ice there by the Spitfires. Fisher jumps back on it. Fisher hands it to Bax. Bax leaned on by Walton. Scooped up by Jonathan Brown. Spitfires looking to work it through center ice. Broken up there. Reese. Cameron Aucoin along the near side. Simpson got a touch on it. Simpson checking into the lineup for the Sting, who are still missing Alessandro Diorio and Carter Costas. James Barr also out tonight. Chase Gahan, the other scratch for the Sting. We're told Diorio is getting close. Has not played so far in the regular season. Got hurt during preseason action up in Midland. With an upper body injury, but scouts looking forward to his return, as are the Sarnia Sting. Davis looking for the open man. Spitfires looking to set up. There's a chance. Knocked away off the stick of Harvey by goaltender Quinlan. Ricochets all the way back down the ice. Robinson on it. Up ahead here, both teams making changes. Spitfires wondered if Sarnia were guilty of too many men. Probably the Sting pointing back the other way. Play on, the officials say. Games. Sting looked to clear it and knocked out of play. We approach 5 minutes gone here in this second period of play. We'll see AJ Spellacy, the draft pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. And Josh, this guy's got quite a story. He could have played high-level college football in the United States, but has shown hockey's worked out just perfectly fine for him.
Quite an athlete. I know the Chicago Blackhawks gave him a good look there in the preseason. Plays a really dynamic game, big and strong, kind of like what you'd expect out of a guy who specializes in football.
Certainly had, talk about players having options, but having an option to play high-level college football was now. Kamzik looks to walk in with a chance. He's denied another chance. Big stop by Costanzo looking to recover, and now the gloves are off. We've got games swinging away with Kamzik. Kamzik's gloves are not off. So Games is going to go off, and we'll see if Kamzik joins them. But interesting call to be made here by the officials. They've got them both, but one set of gloves were off, one were not. We'll see if this might be the 4-2 kind of situation with Games getting the extras. Games is not a happy camper. We'll get one more look at it here. Kamzik looked to get to the net right off the draw. One chance on the backhand, follows up. And then Games and Kamzik get themselves all tangled up.
And Nathan looked like he was the more enthusiastic of the two there. So
we'll see what the officials decide. Faceoff stays in the Windsor zone. Looks like it's going to come to the right. I believe Sarnia has chosen the right of the goaltender, so Sarnia does get the power play. I do believe, just looking to see if something goes up on the board. I think they're waiting for Windsor to send somebody over to serve the extra two. Greg Walters taking his time sending someone, and finally sends Dubowski over. So Sarnia goes to work on the power play. Sting power play really improved this season, 21% among the top 10 in the Ontario Hockey League. Spitfires #1 on the PK, 88% efficiency on the penalty kill. So 4 for roughing the games, 2 for Kamzik. Edwards breaks in. Beckham Edwards. Brown gives chase. Davis trying to break it up for Windsor. Drop back to Fisher. Lucas Fisher works on the left point. Into Brown. Brown chips it back to Fisher. Edwards along this near side, sets it up top of the circle. Fisher. Davis trying to close the gap as now Brown puts it on the side of the net. Manza trying to drive his way out in front. Right there on the doorstep. Manza was cross-checked to the ice. Penalty coming here to Windsor. Cross-checking the call, so the Sting will have themselves a two-man advantage out of this. Sting were celebrating like the puck went in the net, but they can also celebrate the fact they're going to have a 5-on-3 advantage. Kennedy goes to the box. You'll see this set play. Manza takes it and looks to drive to the net. Dumped there by Kennedy. And now a 5-on-3. Penalty box getting a little busy for the Windsor Spitfires. There remains Van Volsen, Brown, Manza, Edwards, and Fisher. Now McKeish is coming over. Did Kennedy maybe have something too much to say? We'll wait for the announcement. 5-on-3 Sting for 117. Sarnia races and not able to keep it in right off the faceoff. Yeah, 2 and a 10. Kennedy gets the double up. 2 for the cross check and the dime. So Spitfires will be out without the defender for a while as Fisher sets up. Fisher hands it off to Brown. Back to Fisher. Fisher. Watched closely by Walton. Now opens up some space. Nesbitt trying to hops down on him as Edwards makes a move. Backhands it right in front of the net. It was in the blue paint. Nesbitt to the line, not out. Knocked down by Fisher. Edwards gives to Fisher. Brown, side of the net. Little bumper play there as Manza tried to set up Van Volsen. And as the Spitfires cleared it, they put it into the Sarnia bench. So the faceoff will come back inside. Spitfires arguing that the gloves were over the bench towards the ice level, but I don't think... No, they are going to decide it will come outside. So the Spitfires do win the argument. They'll say that the Sarnia glove that it hit was over the plateau, over the plane. It's like breaking the plane in football.
Precision call there by the officials that puts the draw outside the offensive zone.
Hey, they got together and discussed it. Had that chat and put the face-off where it was supposed to be. Manza trying to get free. Here's Ryan Brown. Brown, the former Sting first-round pick, gives to Edwards. Fisher. Ryan Brown again. Brown shot blocked, goes airborne, and comes back out the near side. One penalized player will come out here. It'll be Dubowski, who was serving the extra minor to Games. So it remains 5-on-4. Fisher. Edwards. Past Manza, race for it here. Spellacy tries to win it against Brown. Spellacy lost his stick, but was able to clear it out, and Spitfires clear it the rest of the way. Now we've got Dubowski and Fisher all tangled up at center ice. Referee puts the arm in the air and had a feeling they're going to take Fisher. Fisher's going after the referee, but we saw a couple penalties in a row to Windsor, so Fisher was the guy near the Windsor bench, so holding is going to be the call. And in 18 seconds, Spitfires will get themselves a power play. The intensity here, it's rivalry weekend. As you see, Fisher and Dubowski getting all tangled up and grabbing onto each other, a little poke back and forth. But, Josh, we talk about hockey and the skill in the game, but we always like to see that intensity, the physicality, the intensity, the rivalry. That's what makes the game so much fun.
You want to keep it between the lines, of course, but yeah, the intensity is always good, and that's what Rivalry Week in the OHL is all about.
Woodall sets up. We're 4-on-4 on the ice. Cristoforo with a shot, and Quinlan right there to grab it. One thing we've noticed, too, is a lot of new faces around the OHL this year. Obviously, a lot of players graduating to the pro ranks this year, and I think it's been very interesting to see some of these new faces we see with the Sting, we see with everybody.
It's been really remarkable to follow along as someone who's followed the league most of my life. This season in particular, just so many new faces. Of course, Patrick Quinlan right there, a guy who, apart from that rule change, may not have found himself in Sarnia, but now the fans an opportunity to see some of these names who using the Ontario Hockey League as a pathway to the next level. And I think it's been really exciting, and the Sting are a testament to that. A number of new names in the lineup this year.
5 people on the ice right now for the Sting, including the goalie. 3 of them brand new. Reese, Wallows, and Quinlan. Pickle comes over from Kingston. The only returnee is Mitch Young. Here's Nesbitt walking in. Spitfires on the power play. Rolls to the front of the net. Nesbitt looking to follow up. And there's Quinlan once again grabbing it as Belchez is knocked down by Pickle. It's about 6'5" against 5'8".
To your point there, Terry, I mean, a lot of conversation throughout the offseason as to what this was all going to shake down to look like. But if you really look at the numbers and the flow of players coming in and out of the OHL, I believe it was 6 or 7 guys, went to the NCAA before the end of their 19-year-old season. Whereas by contrast, I mean, you're looking at over 100 players who made commitments to the Ontario Hockey League who traditionally may not have come this way. So really a lot to consider when you factor the numbers out that way.
Yeah, and we saw that at the OHL priority selection as well, with so many players being chosen, especially pretty high, that the OHL now an option for them and saying, yes, I want to come to the Ontario Hockey League. And here's a guy that was no doubter. Belchez, the first overall pick a couple years ago, gives to Cristoforo a high shot. Knocked wide of the net. Back to the line, Cristoforo. Belchez. Woodall. Dropping it back there. Davis sets up. Here's Davis walking in and held on to by Quinlan. And Josh, I think the other way you look at here, Belchez, first-round pick. Nesbitt, first-round pick of Windsor, and obviously a first-round NHL pick. Then you have a Cristoforo, a Woodall out there, and Davis, guys who maybe didn't get the headlines right off the bat, but have really been able to flourish in the league.
Absolutely. A good blend. Every player's got their own story, right? And you see that of the mix of names out on the ice right now. And even I look at a guy like the guy about to take the face-off for the Spitfires, Ethan Garden, a Michigander who came the way of the Ontario Hockey League, off to a great start this year. Been fun to follow along with some of the names you just mentioned.
Yeah, Garden, a 9th-round pick in 2024. Belleville, Michigan. McKeish hands it cross ice. There's a chance blocked by Reese off the stick of Harvey. Cleared by the Sting. Got one broken stick out there, had an errant stick. Looks like everybody's back to full equipment. Approaching 15 seconds to go on the Fisher minor. Garden. Knocked down by Wallows. And the Sting clear it down the ice one more time. Robinson. Dancing his way in here. Spellacy tried to get to the net. Knocked off the puck. Dropped it back in front again. Here's Davis with a shot. Quinlan steers that one away. Cross check there by Fisher. Spitfires didn't like that. Edwards dances away out at center ice. Sidesteps one check. Here's Edwards taking it wide. Drops it back. Quick chance there by Brown and stopped by goaltender Costanzo. We get a break. Sting still lead this one by a score of 2-1.
When I do becomes I'm done.
Talk to the family law experts at Drake Law. Divorce doesn't have to be a fight, but when there's a lot at stake, call Drake. DrakeLaw.ca.
The OHL Tonight on Your TV brought to you by Stokes Inland Grill and Bar, inviting Sting fans to drop in before or after the game with their game ticket for a free Sting wing or Sting nacho. Terry Doyle with the Director of Communications for the Ontario Hockey League, Josh Sweetland, joining us in the booth as well. And I know we talk about, of course, the development of players and the NHL draft, last year's NHL draft in LA. I've got to think on the content side, you guys were kept very busy with OHL pick, OHL pick, OHL pick being chosen by NHL teams.
I know the content and social media group we have. Smoke was coming out of our ears there in the early going. Again, a good problem to have, I guess you could say, with Matthew Schaefer and Michael Misa leading things off. A lot of success for the Ontario Hockey League coming into this 25-26 season.
Yeah, I was at the draft and just going from one podium to the other. It's like another OHL player. Here we go. And makes things a lot of fun and certainly very busy, but and great to see their natural reactions. Well, like talking to Jack Nesbitt, who says he sees the video now still of him being chosen and gives him the chills and the goosebumps of, you know, hearing his name called by the Flyers.
Just fantastic to see the top three picks out of the Ontario Hockey League having already made their NHL debuts this season.
Fisher with a chance knocked wide of the net. Still seen some players from last year's NHL draft making debuts like Beckett Seneca. Now walking in here is Davis. Gets the stick up high on Mitch Young. Young still that extra protection after the broken jaws. Belchez with a chance deflected wide. Woodall. Woodall holds, drops it. Brown not able to get a stick on that. Spitfires have to turn to go back after it. It's Brown on Brown here as Ryan Brown trying to chase down Jonathan Brown. Fisher. Stopped by Woodall. McKeish waited in front of his own bench. Drop back as Brown looks to weave his way in. Brown out of New York State. Ryan Brown drops it. Woodall looking for Spellacy. Spellacey's shot just wide on the stick side of Quinlan. McKeish centers it, split the Windsor defenders, and Brown has to turn to go back after it. Woodall dances his way in. 15 assists on the season, leads the OHL in scoring. And with that, of course, leads the OHL in assists as... And I think that's the thing you talk about, Josh, the new names, the new faces. A guy who's not a new name or a new face around Windsor and from the Windsor area, but, you know, Carson Woodall, not the guy you would have necessarily picked, but good on him being right there at the top of the scoring race.
Not at all, but Carson had a pretty productive season last year on the blue line. Of course, you know, as someone who covers a lot of content at league, he does a lot of great community work too. He's raised a lot of money for great causes, doing stair climbs and various things like that. You always like to see young men getting engaged the way Carson has in Windsor.
Yeah, we've seen that throughout the OHL in our time, both of us around this league. So many players, the community work, and you know, you'll see players recognized by their teams and then by the league as the humanitarian of the year, but so many others doing so many things, school visits, just being involved in various community efforts.
It's definitely a culture that, we want to encourage and foster across the league, because these young men on the ice, they mean so much to, little eyeballs out in communities and in schools and whatnot. A very important part of the Ontario Hockey League.
So bounces in and held on to by Quillen. I talked to Woodall this week, and he said, I was that guy at the 2017 Windsor Memorial Cup Championship as Dabowski now jumps Reese. Looks like they will be separated there. But he said, I was in the rink when the 17 Spitfires won. He says, I've got my, Taylor Hall, Ryan Ellis autographed items. Those guys meant so much to Carson Woodall to then move on to the Ontario Hockey League.
Fascinating to be able to grow up and wear that logo on your chest the same way, those guys on the 17 Spits who won it all in front of the WFCU Center. Quite a story for Carson Woodall.
So you see the two of them just there, little joust there, and then you see the little poke by Reese, and the referee saw it, and then Dabowski jumps in. We'll see what the call is on Reese. The door is open for where Reese is, so I wonder if maybe picked himself up an extra minor. It looks like that is the case, because the door is open and 2 is on the board on the Sarnia side. Coach Al Letang for Sarnia told he has to send somebody over to the penalty box. He's kind of taking his time. And then eventually taps Jordan Bax to go serve the extra minor.
Big part of this game here, I believe this Windsor power play was operating at something to the effect of 35% entering the weekend.
First in the Ontario Hockey League. You're clicking at 35%. That's quite the performance.
It's going to be a tough pace to keep up.
But even you keep that at high 20s throughout the season, you're going to do a lot of damage. Special teams, so important. Davis, watched by Fisher. So Spitfires on the power play. The extra minor to Reese. I wonder if they maybe called that for spearing with that jab. Woodall. Stepping up here is Cristoforo. It is 4 for the spear, and then Dabowski got 2 for the rough, so that's why it is a Windsor power play. Woodall approaching the midway point of the power play. Under 7 to go here in the second. Still 2-1. That was their score after 1 period of play. Sting opened the scoring. Made it 2-0. Pickle and Fisher with the goals. Spitfires are able to respond with one of their own. Off the stick of Ethan Belchez going upstairs. That's why we're at 2-1 right now. McKeish. Bumped by Van Volsen as he got it over the line. Garden trying to dig it out. Ryan Brown and Van Volsen there looking to clear it. They do get it back over the line. Robinson. Spellisy. Spellisy weaves his way over the Sarnia blue line. Now cuts to the inside. Young held him up. McKeish came across. But now it's the Sarnia Sting able to clear it one more time. Costello. Sting able to kill off the penalty. Bax is back on the ice as he served the extra 2 to Reese. Brocklehurst drops it. Costello couldn't get the shot off. It was blocked by Wallows. The stick got up high, but it was a follow-through of a shot. Now another chance in front of that. Spitfire still battling there and kept out by Quinlan. Wallows still in a lot of difficulty out there. Here's another chance. This time, nice glove save by Quinlan as he denies Brocklehurst. The Sting get a necessary whistle. As we get a break, the Sting still lead by 1.
Watch your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco. Have an event coming up? Need help spreading the word? Reach your community through Your TV. Promote your nonprofit event for free on TV and online. Visit yourtv.tv for details. Your TV, truly local.
One-goal lead. I think he's basically asking about the play that I think we're going to show you here in a second. And indeed, it was a follow-through of a shot that got up into the grill of Wallows. They'll come right here in the middle. You'll see Wallows was coming across. Costello took the shot. A follow-through of a shot is the one exception to you have to have control of your stick in terms of that's sort of the what people think that 100% of the time, but a follow-through on a shot like that, and you saw the gesture by Letang asking the linesman for clarification, and that's exactly what it was. The follow-through, the shot got up high, so that's why there was no penalty on the play. Correct call made there. Sting cleared off the draw. Not enough steam for icing. Hicks. Watch closely there by Kamzik. Now Spitfires get it back out to center ice. Nesbitt able to dump it in. Davis made a move to stay onside. He kind of spun around, a little pirouette at the blue line. Beamish absorbs the check from Nesbitt. Now here is Belchez trying to work his way in front of the net, trying to bank it in off the goaltender. And Quinlan right there to make the stop, and then the stick of Belchez ends up in the equipment of Quinlan, and you know Sarnia is not going to be happy about that, as now Belchez taken out of there by Caden Aucoin. And finally the officials say, you know what, you guys aren't done yet. Go have a seat for 2 minutes. First round pick in the OHL priority selection in 24, and the second rounder in 25 going to the box. You'll see Belchez, creative little move trying to bank it in, and then you'll see Belchez just calmly putting that stick in after the whistle. And rivalry games, you see that, and now a little discussion in the penalty box.
Patrick Quinlan really keeping things under control for the Sting. I believe my first viewing of him was last year in the CHL USA Prospects Challenge. He was actually on the American side of the ledger in that event. He's faring better here tonight. Last year, the CHL winning that in fairly dominant style. That event, of course, coming up in November in Calgary and Lethbridge, Alberta. And I would expect to see some rosters here in the next couple weeks emerging for that event.
You may have an in on when some communications come out from the OHL and the CHL.
A little Easter egg there for those listening at home.
Of course, those will be the top, basically 20 players from around the Canadian Hockey League, including the OHL, eligible for the 2026 NHL draft. And then the OHL Top Prospects game taking place in January in Peterborough. Here's Young. Young puts it on goal, kicked out by Costanzo. We are 4-on-4 on the ice. Offsetting Miners, Caden Aucoin for the Sting, and Ethan Belchez of the Spitfires. Pass out at center ice, off the stick of Garden. He looks to give chase. Fisher drops it off. There's Cameron Aucoin, the older brother. Joined the Sting as a free agent. Caden, the second-round pick last spring. Beamish looked to send Ryan Brown down the ice. He has to go after it all against the end boards. Fisher out here. Beamish with a chance. Knocked down by Woodall. Ryan Brown. Still lots of room to work on the ice. Brown watched by Cristoforo. Brown trying to open up some room. Lets the shot go. Whistles that one wide of the net. Fisher has to turn to go back after it. Houston Hurt is there for the Sting. Ryan Brown. Fisher with a quick chance along the ice. That's stopped by Costanzo. Cole Davis. Check there. We've got a penalty coming up here as Spellacy got high sticked, and a 4-minute high sticking call coming here against the Sarnia Sting as he got tied up with Liam Beamish. Watch 8 here, and there you see on the back check, Beamish got the stick up high, and Spellacy is cut, so hence the double minor, and this dangerous Windsor Spitfires power play will go to work.
Yeah, buckle up here in the final moments leading into the intermission. 3:04 remaining here in the second, and the Spits top-ranked power play going to a brief 2-man advantage.
Looks like we'll start 4-on-3. Robinson. Costello drops it back to Robinson. Over here on the near side, McKeish looks to set up blocker down by Quinlan. Robinson at the line. Moving it over here, McKeish looks to center. And the Sting break it up. Aucoin and Belchez back on the ice, so now 5-on-4 instead of 4-on-3. Robinson sets up. Check by Caden Aucoin. Belchez. Belchez with Garden parked in front of the net. Spitfires drop it down low. A chance there by Garden. Steered away by Quinlan. Belchez. Past Garden. Harvey gives chase. Harvey down into Garden. Back up top to Robinson. Belchez. It's set up there. Robinson at the left point. Spitfires working it around in this power play. Bouncing around right in the slot. Both teams looking for it. McKeish hit the crossbar. McKeish went upstairs but found the bar. Another chance by Belchez. Quinlan makes that stop as the Spitfires getting their chances. The shots were 12-5 at one point in the hockey game. Now all even, 17 apiece.
McKeish, another one of those American names, I believe, coming out of the Boston Hockey Academy, and he was looking to go right up under the bar on that shot. And the official in good position to make the call there.
Yeah, we can certainly hear the clunk of the bar from up here. Spitfires, a little bit of a huddle here, deciding what they want to do off the draw. Nesbitt leans in for the face-off. Belchez on his right, Davis on his left, Christopher and Woodall at the line. Spitfires control. Woodall hands it off Belchez. Look to go cross ice. And cleared out by Mitch Young. Woodall. Played back to Davis. Davis rings it around the boards. Belchez waits for it. Belchez, watched by Houston Hurt. Hurt, who learned the game in the Nashville area before moving to Michigan prior to his OHL priority selection year. Woodall. Shot knocked down by Young. Following up is Belchez. He put it wide of the net. Pickle looks to move it out. Here's Pickle with a chance shorthanded. Ben Pickle walks in. He goes to the forehand. Stopped by Costanzo. Costanzo can't find it. He thinks he's covered it. It was loose. Woodall sent it down the ice. Icing against Windsor as Ben Pickle came oh so close to picking up his second of the night. That one would have been shorthanded.
Some good goaltending at both ends. Joey Costanzo coming through in the clutch there. And boy, Ben Pickle's added a little bit of spark to this Sarnia Sting team, hasn't he, Terry?
Yeah, certainly a guy that, an energy guy, a leadership guy, comes over from the Kingston Frontenacs, a fan favorite in Kingston. And now jumping in. I know I got some notes as soon as the trade was done from some of my colleagues in Kingston said, oh, you're going to enjoy watching him. Real energy guy and able to do things shorthanded there. Final minute here. This penalty, barring a Windsor goal, will carry over to the third period. A little miscommunication by the Sting. Fisher has to go back after it away from Belchez. Fisher clears it down the ice. Woodall. Cristoforo looks to work his way in over the line, slowed down by the Sting. Windsor couldn't touch it. They would have been offside. 10 seconds remaining in the second period. We have no goals in this second period. Long home run pass here. They'll say no icing. And then Nesbitt was dunked by Reese. And penalty called from center ice. Nesbitt was dumped by Reese. Reese kind of points over to the one referee and said he didn't think it was a penalty, but Connor Mallon at center ice decides it will be. So a two-man advantage for the final half a second of the second period, and the Spitfires will have a two-man advantage. You'll see Reese with the cross-check on Nesbitt right at the end boards.
Certainly sets up a very interesting start to the third period.
They'll drop the puck to kill off the time. Now a quick discussion here, maybe double checking to see if some time should go back on the clock. Windsor pulls the goaltender for the extra attacker, but the officials are all still chatting here, 3 of the 4 of them. Spitfires are saying, hey, some time should go back on the clock. Of course they want it. Half a second to go in the period officially on the board. I don't think they're going to get their wish. This is the half-second play. They put it on goal, wide of the net. That'll do it for the second period of play. Josh Sweetland, Director of Communications for the OHL. Thanks for joining us here.
It's been a pleasure, Terry. Always great to talk hockey, talk OHL, and we got a great game here on Rivalry Week.
Absolutely. 2-1 after 2 periods of play. The Sarnia Sting lead the Windsor Spitfires. Stay tuned. More to come in our second intermission. Live from Sarnia, you are watching the OHL tonight on your TV.
When I do becomes I'm done.
Talk to the family law experts at Drake Law. Divorce doesn't have to be a fight, but when there's a lot at stake, call Drake. DrakeLaw.ca.
Join us right here on your TV for In the Studio with me, your host, Mark Tatro, where we go behind the scenes with musicians from all across Sarnia Lambton, talking about music, writing, recording, stories from the road, and so much more right here on your TV.
Do you know what your local wetland has done for you lately? Wetlands function like nature's kidneys, mitigating the impacts of floods and droughts, protecting our communities, and supporting food production. Despite representing 6% of the Earth's surface, wetlands store 33% of the planet's carbon. If you value life, thank a wetland. Learn about wetlands at work with Ducks Unlimited Canada at ducks.ca/wetlands.
When I had achieved those 40 hours that you need to graduate high school, I didn't even realize it because I was having so much fun and having a fantastic experience working with a great crew and as well as serving my community.
If alcohol builds a wall around you, it doesn't let you see where you're going. It keeps you feeling isolated and alone. That makes you feel hopeless. Know this. We're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Are you ready to think bigger, act bolder, and have more confidence? Get inspired by the women on Women Who Lead right here on your TV.
Spitfires. Here's Caden Aucoin joining me here. They've called it Rivalry Week. Feel like quite the rivalry going here with the Windsor Spitfires?
Yeah, I mean, we faced them before. Home opener didn't go our way, but I think it's clear we kind of wanted that one back. We're coming out, we're pushing way harder than all of our other games. I think the intensity is the most it's been all year, so yeah, this is a rivalry.
It's the case right now, get the big kill to start this third period and then basically stay with the way this game has gone?
I know, they got all the forwards, like, you know, they got skill. if we're killing them. We just got to get this kill off. I know, bad call, but we killed them all night. So I just think, depending on this kill goal, that's going to be our third period. If we hold them, we win.
8th game, 9th game now in the Ontario Hockey League for you. What's it been like playing in the OHL so far?
It's a great league. I mean, there's so much skill. It's way faster. It's a big jump, but I think after like your first 3 games, you kind of adapt. You just got to play your game. But no, I mean, when you're surrounded by guys on your team that are just as good, it makes it just as easy. So no, it's not that bad.
One of the guys you're surrounded with, of course, your older brother. I'm sure that's been a lot of fun. Yeah. You two uniting here in Sarnia.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's good having him by my side. Played a couple games with him as a D partner. I love it. So it's good to have somebody you know on the team coming into it, and I think it just made it a lot easier of a road.
We'll let you get back through. Good luck in the third.
Thank you.
Aiden Aucoin joining us here after 2 periods of play as the Sting lead the Spitfires by a score of 2-1. Let's take a look at what's happening on the out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by Maple Mutual Insurance. The Brantford Bulldogs lead the Brampton Steelheads 4-3 in the middle period. After 2 in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight, it's the Erie Otters with a 2-1 lead against the Niagara Ice Dogs. Meantime, other action sees the London Knights in control at the Odd in Kitchener, 5-0. The score in that one in the middle frame. After 2 in the Limestone City, the Ottawa 67s have been off to a great start to the season with a 2-0 lead against the Kingston Frontenacs. A couple other games happening in the league. The Northern Battle sees the Sudbury Wolves leading 3-2 in the second period. Meantime, the Highway 6 rivalry sees the Guelph Storm and the Owen Sound Attack all tied 2-2 in the second period in that game. Next broadcast, whether you're watching us in Sarnia or in Windsor, it's these two teams, the back end of the home and home on OHL Rivalry Week. Windsor Spitfires playing host to the Sarnia Sting tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. You'll see it right here. Wherever you're watching us here on your TV, you can see it tomorrow night beginning at 7. 2-1 Sting lead the Spitfires after 40 on the OHL tonight on your TV.
Sorry, not for sale, prop for the video. It is astonishing how many consumer goods are thrown out every day. We can live so much more sustainably if we relocate these items to new homes that need and appreciate them. This stunning red fabric armchair is a perfect example.
Actually, that's a cinnamon velvet swivel club chair.
This stunning red fabric armchair is a perfect example.
Hi and welcome to Auto Experts. I'm your host Kirk Robinson, owner of Robinson Automotive.
Hi, I'm Ryan Brown with Sarnia Sting.
Brown follows up, he scores!
Join us for all 68 of our games this season, home and away, on the OHL Tonight on your TV.
Another sunny day by the water. Friends, fun, and maybe a few drinks. We all know to keep our roads free of impaired drivers, and that means our lakes and waterways too. Impaired boating is impaired driving. Thank you to all the responsible boaters who are doing their part, and to those that keep an eye out, just in case. Here's to more sunny days. Enjoy the summer on safer roads and waterways. Arrive alive. Drive sober.
Watch your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Doyle. Welcome to this week's edition of the OHL Roundtable here on the OHL Tonight alongside Tim Cunningham. And Tim, junior hockey, it's known to be of a bit of a cyclical nature. And I think this year we're seeing one of those years where we saw a big turnover from last year to this year. So many major names around the Ontario Hockey League have either graduated or gone onto the NHL, maybe a little bit earlier than they would have if they full-on graduated and used up all their junior hockey eligibility. The big names in London, Sam Dickinson, Easton Cowan, Denver Barkey, Zane Parekh and Michael Misa in Saginaw. It seems like so many players have moved on that it's led to quite a turnover in the OHL this year.
Well, to me, that's what's so fascinating about the OHL, and over the last few years, to me, it was a perfect storm that we had all that amazing talent for as long as we did. But as you said, Terry, it's a cyclical league, and there's always new top end talent coming in, and this new class is great. I mean, they've hit the ground running, like Caleb Malhotra and Thomas Vandenberg in Ottawa and Ryerson Edgar in Niagara. And then with the graduation of this top end talent, you have guys that were playing secondary roles like Ethan Belchez that are not Belchez, but more like a Ryan Rubrick, let's say, that's going to really take going to be front and center in terms of the league in terms of star power.
Yeah, it's certainly, we talk about, Cowan, Barkey, Misa, Martone, Perec, Lardis, Rakoff, Seneca, all players that have moved on, that were guys that really established themselves as 16 and 17-year-olds and were around for a few years, became familiar names. It basically works out that 7 of last year's top 10 scorers and 6 of the top 20, or 7 of last year's top 10 are gone, and only 6 of last year's top 20 are back. So really shows the turnover. And indeed, that's the fun part of junior hockey, seeing so many great names come through the league, move on to the pros, and then there's a new crop coming through, as Tim mentioned. So certainly has been very exciting. Now, coming into this week's play, Tim, certainly I don't think anybody had on their bingo card that the leading scorer in the Ontario Hockey League would have 0 goals and 15 assists. That would be Carson Woodall of the Windsor Spitfires. And here's a guy who's just, once again, player who maybe was playing some secondary minutes, some power play time, but really flourishing on that top Windsor team this year.
But always a player that has distributed the puck well, and he's sort of the OHL version of Sergei Gonchar, who was a favorite of mine, played many years in Washington, had 800 career points, and 600 of them were assists. And coming into this year, Woodall had 67 career points in the OHL, and 58 of them were assists. So he distributes the puck well. And obviously it helps that he's got an incredible supporting cast. He's got arguably one of the top teams in the country. And I imagine for him, he's having a lot of fun playing with these guys.
Absolutely. And his is a player who, he's growing into a bigger name around the Ontario Hockey League, but he's been a very big name in the Windsor market. He's from the Windsor area, from Bell River, one of those communities surrounding Windsor, and very active in the community. His Woody's Hoodies campaign, which raises money for cancer, has been very popular in the region. Sales, proceeds of sales from the hoodies, a portion of them have been going to cancer fundraisers. He's around, he and his father, and have seen lots. So it's a big name in the Windsor community, and it shows that tie. We see it, Tim, throughout the Ontario Hockey League. Players starring on the ice, but so involved in the communities. We talk about the cyclical nature of junior hockey, making it so special, but that community involvement as well. You see it throughout the Eastern Conference. We see it across the league. These players not only being stars on the ice, but stars in their communities.
Oh, absolutely, and there are players all throughout the league that get involved in their community, much more so than they did maybe back in the day. The OHL, and certainly under the new leadership of Commissioner Crawford, it really is really emerging as a league that is, in all of its 20 markets are involved in its communities.
No, certainly some great things happening in all 20 Ontario Hockey League markets. Let's shift back to on the ice. Look out for the Brantford Bulldogs, which we said that coming into the season. Jake O'Brien and Anna Bennock, both with 2 points apiece on average, 2 points per game on average, as they've been able to pick up 13 points in their only 6 games played. They've only played 6 of the 8 Brantford games so far because of them coming back from camp. And this is a team that has already a number of players, 6 of them with double-digit point numbers. There are only 23 players in the OHL that have double digits. The Bulldogs have 6 of them.
Well, you were talking about bingo cards earlier, and I think a lot of people that follow this league on their bingo cards had the Bulldogs as one of the top teams in the league. This is a team that has a lot of grit. They have a lot of playoff grit, and this is a team, to me, that's built for the playoffs. But as you mentioned, a ton of top-end talent. And they're a team that skate well. They work incredibly hard for Jay McKee, and they can play any style. If you want to play a skating game, great. You want to play a tough game, they can do that. That comes with that grit. And this is a team that I think could go from post to the finish line as a top team in the league, and are going to be they'll go very deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think as we talk about bingo cards coming into the season, we both had the Brantford Bulldogs high in the Eastern Conference and off to a great start. Now on the another part of the Eastern Conference, I didn't have the Ottawa 67s on my bingo cards atop the Eastern Conference, or right there in the thick of things very early. You take out last week's game against Brantford, where they tasted a regulation defeat for the first time all season. They gave up 8 goals in that game. They'd only given up 11 goals in the other 6 games all season. It's an Ottawa club off to a good start.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, I respectfully, Terry, I'm not surprised. This is a team that had a lot of talent last year that missed the playoffs, and I think it really stung. And so I'm not surprised that there's been a bounce back. I think a lot of these kids had a great summer. They've got great goaltending. Fedorov has a 919 save percentage. Jaden Nelson is going to play a secondary role, and he's a very capable backup. So they defend well, as any Dave Cameron team does, and they've got some top end talent up front. So I'm not surprised at all that they're off to a great start.
And we've seen over the years, Dave Cameron teams can play that tight defensive game, not afraid to, have the guys buy in. It's one thing to do it early in the season. It's another thing to do it as the season rolls along. Another team doing that right now, maybe a little surprise, is the Brampton Steelheads, but James Richmond has them play that tight defensive game. We'll see if that continues on. That's going to do it for the roundtable this week. For Tim Cunningham, I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks very much for joining us. Third period action coming up next on the OHL Tonight.
Any player, regardless of draft status, that plays in the Ontario Hockey League is entitled to a minimum scholarship of tuition, books, and compulsory fees per year played in the OHL. The player's annual scholarship is based on the value of tuition, books, and compulsory fees at the university closest to their home. This is also true for U.S.-born and import players who will receive the identical scholarship criteria but adjusted to reflect their native currency.
Maybe you've heard that the only people who shop at Habitat Restore are contractors. But actually, many of our customers are homeowners or renters, DIY enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or anyone looking for that great deal on a unique find.
I'm Matthew Winquist.
And I'm Michael Patwine.
Join us on Game Night, where we teach and play a new game every episode.
Games are more fun with friends, so this time we're bringing some of our own. So check us out on your TV.
Hi, I'm Miles from Inn of the Good Shepherd. We're facing some interesting and challenging times in regards to food and the need for food in our community. Everybody feels the pinch for the cost of food and the inflation, and so we're seeing more folks, $2,200 a month now, using the food bank. That's about a 25% increase. Any help that the community can provide to make sure that these families are cared for would be greatly appreciated.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on your TV.
Certainly plenty of action in that second period of play, including Ben Pickle with a shorthanded breakaway denied by Joey Costanzo. But at the end of the day, no scoring in that middle frame. We were 2-1 after one. We're 2-1 after two between the Sarnia Sting and the Windsor Spitfires. The first of the back-to-back home-and-home between these two teams, a rivalry week in the Ontario Hockey League. Shots after 2 periods of play for Batter Bus. Life's a journey. Get on board 18-17. Sting over the Spitfires on the shot clock. After 2, Spitfires will have some power play time, though, here in this third period of play. Jake Reese picked up the minor right at the 19:59 mark of the second period of play, and the Sting were already short. So glorious opportunity here for the Windsor Spitfires to start the third. Of course, these two teams will go back at it tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Chris McLeod, Nick Warner will have the call for you on Your TV in Windsor. Of course, shown here on Your TV in Sarnia. So welcome those of you watching us in Sarnia tonight. And many of you will be headed to the rink to see these guys in person tomorrow evening. This is the second of 6 meetings between the Sting and the Spitfires this season. So to set the scene here, the Sting will be, or the other side you might say, the Windsor Spitfires will be on a 5-on-3 power play. 56 seconds to go in the high-sticking double minor to Liam Beamish. And then they've got a full 2 minutes on the clock to Reese. I guess officially it'd be 1:59.5 because there was a half a second to go on the clock when the penalty was called. So big moment here in the hockey game. Spitfires, the number 1 ranked power play in the Ontario Hockey League coming into this game. Looking to see if they can capitalize at least once. Try and tie the hockey game up, and then if they can get an early one, maybe continue on the power play. Jack Nesbitt and the Windsor Spitfires going to work here. Of course, Nesbitt from Sarnia, so lots of friends and family. See him, I'm sure, at pretty much a lot of his games in the region, whether it's home games in Windsor, come up to Sarnia, over to London, but certainly lots of familiar faces in the crowd here tonight. Third period underway. Sting looking to try and control it off the draw, and then Young will send the Spitfires back into their own end. Woodall. Cole Davis. Cuts across. And offside, Windsor, a little bit of a quiet whistle. 17 seconds into the third period. Faceoff will come back outside the line. So Pickle and Nesbitt once again on the draw. Fisher retreats, but now Pickle broke his stick on the face-off, but was able to clear it down the ice on the draw. Woodall steps up. Woodall drops it back. Lots of room here. Nesbitt gives to Davis. Here's Davis into a lane there. Stopped by Quinlan. Davis follows up. Nice glove save by Quinlan. Patrick Quinlan, a little quieter in the opening period, but certainly business picked up for him in the second. You'll see Spitfires working it around here. Davis got himself in a lane, got the shot through, and then followed up on his own rebound. Blocker save on the first shot, glove save on the second, keeping it a 2-1 game. Wallows, this time on the draw. We've seen Wallows has played a lot of penalty kill time for the Sting so far as Belchez holds on to it. Cristoforo. Beamish out of the boxes. Quinlan grabs it and holds on. That gives Beamish a chance to get right back in the play. He'll end up, let's see if he gets replaced on the bench, but either way, the Sting, Beamish will stay on. They can set up their penalty killers now 5-on-4, but the Spitfires will set up their power play again. There you see Spellacy joined by McKeish, Garden, Harvey, and Robinson. Of course, Liam Greentree still out, serving the back end of his suspension. He'll be back tomorrow night in Windsor. McKeish tries to squeeze past Houston Hurts. Spellacy on it. Spellacy bumped by Cameron Aucoin. Spitfires move it around the zone. Hall trying to slow it down. Robinson gives it off to Harvey. Harvey, side of the net. Play right in front of the goal. And once again, Quinlan able to hold on as the Sting defenders not giving the Spitfires much room to work with here. Still working it around to the outside of the power play. Then able to get in tight. You'll see there, setting up Garden. Looks to go across to McKeish, but stopped there by Quinlan. Draw once again to the right of Quinlan. Wallows and Nesbitt. Not done fairly. They will keep the two of them in the face-off circle. Scrum off the draw. It comes loose to Davis. Nesbitt behind the net. Christoforo, the defenseman, drops it back to Davis. Now Davis winds it up. Cross ice onto the stick of Belchez. Belchez up top finds Woodall. Woodall centers it there, and that was deflected out of play. Just 7 seconds to go now on the power play. One more chance here if the Spitfires can win the draw. Sting looking to see if they can kill it off. Christoforo. There's Woodall. Now Belchez. Sting able to kill off the extended Windsor power play. Good news if you're a Sarnia fan right now, not good news if you're a Blue Jays fan right now. Let's put it that way. All of the Sting players on the ice. Give me a little tap to goaltender Patrick Quinlan as he held down the fort during that Windsor extended power play. Edwards and Spellacy. Chopped out by the Sting. A little miscommunication there as to who was going to go after it. Finally, Dabowski jumps it in. Edwards tripped up and penalty coming up here. Kennedy's going to go back to the box. He served the 2 and the 10, and now he shakes his head as he's going to go back to the penalty box. Kennedy for the penalty, and the Sarnia Sting will get a power play. Face off to the right of Costanzo. Kennedy in the box. Van Volsen, Manza, Brown, Edwards, and Fisher for the Sting. Nesbitt centers the penalty kill unit for the Spitfires with Davis, Brown, and Walton. Fisher. And I can think of one Sting fan that when I said Davis and Brown was thinking of a former Sting forward. But of course, Cole Davis and Jonathan Brown. Poked at the line. Good job by Cole Davis. Fisher. Hand it back to Edwards. Ryan Brown tries to get over the line, sitting right on the blue line, still onside. Van Volsen fans on the pass. Now Van Volsen centers there. Manza tried to drop it to Edwards. Manza, 2 Spitfires surround him, and it's cleared out by the Spitfires. Off the stick of Beamish. Hicks sends it back into the zone. There's Layman's. Played into the corner. Beamish backs there for the Sting. Hicks looks to break it up. 4 minutes gone in the third period. Sting still lead this one 2-1. That's where we stood after 20 minutes. Young catches up to it along the near boards. Goes cross ice. Spellacy got a piece of it. Caden Aucoin, the defenseman, goes into the corner. Checked off the puck by Robinson. Aucoin got spun around. Spitfires try to clear the zone. Young keeps it in. Young trying to get it to Bax. Davis knocks him down. And now back to 5-on-5 as Kennedy has jumped back on the ice. Beamish steps back up, but Young was stuck inside the zone. And that put the play offside. Faceoff stays inside the Windsor zone. No, actually comes out, of course, on the offside. Low scoring affair so far, just 3 goals on the big board between the Sting and the Spitfires. Kennedy, the recently penalized player. Kennedy back on the ice. Sting not able to keep it in. Edwards drops it back. Cameron Aucoin for Edwards. Coin tries the near side. Brown couldn't play it, and icing this time against the Sting as we slowly move our way through this third period of play, approaching the 5-minute mark. Sting, of course, go to Windsor tomorrow night, and then that'll do it for this weekend's play. And then come back home next weekend for a Friday night game against the Brantford Bulldogs, and then the London Knights come to town next Sunday, a week from Sunday at 2 o'clock. So 2 more home games before the Sting will have a stretch of road games to wrap up the month of October and start into November. Here's a chance for Belchez looking to get to the net. And now what do we got here? Penalty as Belchez got knocked off the puck. Officials having a discussion. It looks like Nesbitt and one of the Sting chatting as well. You'll see the play here as Belchez looks to make a move, cut in there. He and Harvey, and then you'll see as Belchez was knocked down on the play by Reese. So another power play, and the Sting just cannot afford to send these Spitfires to as many power plays opportunities as they're getting. A team clicking at 35% on the man advantage coming into this game. You expect at some point they're going to be able to click. Spalacy leans in on the face-off. Played back here to Robinson. Now McKeish. Tipped there by Spalacy, wide of the net. Harvey. Looking for Spalacy. Back of the line, Robinson. Finds Harvey. Down low chance. Garden right along the ice. Stopped by Quinlan, and then the rebound by Spalacy put over the net. Big scrum here in the corner. Referees say keep it moving, guys. Finally comes loose. Some time killed off on the power play, and then Ben Pickle clears it down the ice. Both teams making changes. 1:10 to go in the minor. Davis Brown in the box. Davis makes a move. Davis gets himself over the line, broken up by Carson Hall. Hall trying to get out here with Beamish. Hall put himself offside of the blue line. He couldn't scoop it up cleanly. And Hall not able to control it. The Sting are offside as they tried to get another shorthanded chance. You'll see Hall sees the loose puck and just overskated it and put it offside. Sting control here, kill off some more time before Houston Hurt sends it down the ice. Woodall sets up. Cristoforo drops it back to Davis. Davis sends it cross ice to Belchez. Woodall finds Cristoforo. Here's Belchez trying to get out in front of the net. Right there on the doorstep was Nesbitt, but it goes wide. Davis again. Cole Davis. Belchez. Belchez shot. That's blocked. Cristoforo on it. Cristoforo tries to get it through. It goes right through the blue paint. Sting kill off another penalty. Ryan Brown back out there. Woodall. Forced off the puck by Hall. Chipped back in as Nesbitt gives chase. Checked off the puck by Reese. Edwards. Hit by Harvey. The Sting get it to center inside the Windsor line. Harvey moves it ahead. Cameron Aucoin goes back after it. Brown. Up to Van Volsen. Van Volsen shot. Steered away. Ryan Brown looking for the rebound. Edwards goes into that corner, battling with Kennedy. Van Volsen joins in. Played around to the far side. There's McKeish. Kennedy. Up at the line. Garden looking to control it. Bouncing puck comes loose in the slot. Kennedy once again looking for it. Ryan Brown looking to corral it along the near side. Scrambly play here right at the line. Picked up by Harvey. Harvey tried to move it in. Cameron Aucoin able to grab onto it. Caden Aucoin tried to handle it. Now Cameron. Ryan Brown stick handling out of his own zone. Backhands it through center. Jonathan Brown knocks it down. Finds Games. Nathan Games tried to work his way in. Cleared back out. Here's a chance for Pickle. Ben Pickle looking to dance his way in. Puck bounced on him a little bit and then rolls into Costanzo. And Costanzo holds on to it. As we get a break here in Sarnia, still a one-goal hockey game.
Across the nation, the Canadian Hockey League is known for investing in moments like this. But did you know we're also investing in this? Through the CHL Scholarship Program, clubs award nearly $10 million each year. The CHL, developing tomorrow's leaders.
Are you ready to think bigger, act bolder, and have more confidence? Get inspired by the women on Women Who Lead right here on your TV.
The OHL Tonight on your TV brought to you by Stokes Inland Grill and Bar just down the road from the rink over on Lambton Mall Road. We welcome those of you that have maybe switched channels from the Blue Jays game or turn the sound up on this one. 2-1 is our score. All the scoring back in the opening period of play. Ben Pickle scored his second goal in a Sarnia uniform, and then Lucas Fisher with his first goal of the season for the Sting. That made it 2-0 at that point. The Windsor Spitfires were able to bounce back with one of their own off the stick of Ethan Belchez. It's a beauty you'll see on the highlight reels, especially a player expected to be chosen very high in the National Hockey League entry draft. Made it 2-1 Sting after one. That's where we have remained here, approaching 11 to go in the third period of play. Cleared down the ice, set play here by Windsor. Belchez ruled that he could win the race, so no icing. Quinlan clears it around the boards. Beamish finds Manza. Manza hands it off to Fisher. Fisher shot deflected and just went wide of the net. Fisher turns to go back after it. Now they come in, they're onside. It's Kamzik with a chance denied by Costanzo. The Sting are just onside if they were and got a scoring chance out of it. Costanzo slows it down behind the net. Brown moves it over to Cristoforo. Spellisy looks to play it off the boards in the zone, broken up once again by the Sting. Cameron Aucoin rings it around there. McKeish banned on the shot. Chance taken from the far side by Hicks, steered away by Quinlan. Puck comes free. Up top, set up here by Hicks, blocked by Bax. Hicks Cleared past Pickle. Down the ice, icing against the Windsor Spitfires. So face-off back inside the Windsor end of the rink. Lots of discussions after the play as these two teams, of course, the returnees have seen lots of each other over the years, and then the newcomers getting into this rivalry. Edwards and Spellacy on the draw. Sting looked to control it. Houston Hurt finds Brown. He's got a stick handle around the linesman as well, as Brock Perry was still caught in the zone after the draw. Spitfires get it to center ice. Hurt gives to Caden Aucoin. Back for Houston Hurt. Edwards can't get through his man there, Brown. Harvey winds it up. Hicks. Dabowski dumps it in. Caden Aucoin with a hit in front of the Sarnia bench. Dabowski goes down a little awkwardly. Dabowski wants to take a run at somebody, and he returns the favor on Van Volsum with a Sting break it out. Caden Aucoin. Had it bounce off his stick. Now Dabowski at the same place he got hit before, and he gets hit again. This time by Caden Aucoin, and then Brown comes over with a hit on Garden, and now Dabowski just took a poke at a Sting player on the bench. Walton in there as well. Dabowski certainly took a shot at one of the Sarnia players on the bench. I'm not sure if a Sting player maybe made some contact as well. No penalty out of this. Usually when you see interaction between a player on the bench and a player on the ice, something comes out of it, whether it's the player on the bench. You'll see this is the first hit from behind there. Caden Aucoin, so both of them were Aucoin on Dabowski. I'd say they look alike. Of course, the Sting giving it to Dabowski, and Dabowski took a poke at one of the Sarnia players. Referee says play on. Stay 5-on-5. Now Nesbitt thrown out of the draw. Davis and Fisher get all tangled up now, scooped up here and played to the board, to the line that is, by Wallows. Belches downloaded. Nesbitt looking to center, back towards the line, slowed down by Davis. Davis backhands it, broken up by Young. Pickle carries it. Pickle backs, tries to squeeze through. His shot stopped by Costanzo. Pickle was there looking for a rebound. Good job by Costanzo to clear it past him. Davis continues on, tries to center. Nice stop there by Quinlan, and then Walton took a poke at Quinlan on the way by, and the goaltender not too happy, and the Sting saying, hold on, no liberties with the goaltenders. Watch the play here as Davis will play it in. You'll see Davis gets the chance. It stopped there, and then you'll see on the drive-by, and Quinlan and the Sting saying, hold on a second here. Patrick Quinlan wasn't as busy early, but now he's faced 25 shots compared to 21 have gone towards Joey Costanzo. Hall. Kamzik drops it back for Hall. Robinson back after it. Announced crowd of 42-58. Obviously a good chunk of Spitfires fans here as well, but the majority trying to cheer on the home side as Beamish comes back in with a chance, and Costanzo out to challenge the shooter and able to grab onto that one. Joey Costanzo came into this one with a 1.13 goals against average. Strong numbers for the veteran netminder. As you see Beamish able to come in on that right wing side. Gets to the top of the circle. Tries to use Cristoforo as a screen. And good job by Cristoforo reading that the shot was coming and got out of the way of his goaltender. Garden had to be careful. He went down to the ice. The puck was underneath him. If he touches it with the glove, it would be a penalty, but linesman right there to watch it closely and say it was all legal. Sting trying to control it. Reese trying to find it. Poked out here. Brocklehurst, but good job by Cameron Aucoin to come back. Carson Woodall. Up at center ice. Garden couldn't bring it in cleanly. Cameron Aucoin hands it to Reese, who gives it back to Aucoin. Aucoin off a Windsor stick into the zone. No icing. It bounced over the blade of Costanzo. Cameron Aucoin has to retreat as the Spitfires move it out. Fisher sets up in the Sarnia zone. 6.5 to go in the third in a 1-goal hockey game. Fisher. Brown pokes it over the line. Woodall goes back after it. Ridden into the boards by Edwards. Nesbitt. Brown tries to get it out in front of the net. Edwards with a chance, just rolled off his stick on the backhand. Van Volsen goes into the near corner. Brown knocked down by Davis. Davis lost his helmet on the play. He's either got to retrieve it or get off the ice. Mitch Young starts out. Robinson went down at center ice. Brown and Young come in for the Sting. Here's Mitch Young. Left wing side, taking it behind the net. The defenseman lost the handle, trying to follow up on it. Wallows retreated back to check up for Young. Nesbitt tried to chip it past the Sarnia player. Now it's backs the other way. Jordan Backs waiting for some reinforcements. Tries to drive the net. He put it wide. Pickle. Stepping up to the defenseman, Hurt. Houston Hurt. Pickle shot. Steered away by Costanzo. Pickle. Centered it. Wallows. Blocked in tight. Nesbitt. Content to lift it out. Made sure to get it on goal. He's making a line change. Didn't want the icing. Now Pickle sends it into the Windsor zone as the Sting complete a change. McKeish will lurk around the Sarnia blue line. The Sting picked that one up as Cristoforo breaks it out. He'll dump it in, chase after it himself, and whistle down on the play. And we get a break. Buckle up. It's still a 1-goal hockey game. Third period continues here in Sarnia.
YourTV.tv is our online home. Find videos, our broadcast schedule, community events, and how you can get involved in your local channel. Visit YourTV.tv. We are truly local.
I'm Matthew Winquist.
And I'm Michael Patwine.
Join us on Game Night, where we teach and play a new game every episode.
Games are more fun with friends, so this time we're bringing some of our own. So check us out on your TV.
Joey Costanzo, the goaltender of the Windsor Spitfires, has been busy in this one, as has Patrick Quinlan and the Sarnia Sting. 2-1 hockey game. All the scoring coming back in the first period. McKeish, checked there by Reese. Spitfires trying to drive it to the front of the net. McKeish. Hicks now, handing off to Cristoforo, and standing his ground there was Kamzik to carry it out. Kamzik, and Beamish looking to break in. Case Kamzik with a shot, stopped by Costanzo, and the rebound bounced over the stick of Beamish. Now a little weird play went off of Hicks, and Costanzo had to be careful with that one. Harvey carries it up ahead. He's got Spellacy with him. Here's Harvey looking to continue on. Poked off of his stick by Mitch Young. At the line, Spitfires come in offside. Chances at both ends of the rink. The Sarnia Sting were looking to see if they could restore the 2-goal lead they had earlier in the game. Ryan Brown tried to make a move in. He was tied up by Woodall. Robinson got spun around. Woodall up for Games. Fisher pokes it off the near boards. Woodall looks to step up. Right at the line, kept in there by Belchez. Belchez tried to spin away from Young. Young just trying to hold on to Belchez. The stick of Young was into the gear of Belchez. Spellacy on it. He and Fisher get tied up. Comes back out here to Kennedy now. Kennedy trying to move it in. Nesbitt was looking for the rebound. It goes back to Robinson. Approaching 2.5 to go in the third, and there's Quinlan right there to make another save. See if the Spitfires look for their timeout in the next little bit. Just sort of looking at the Windsor bench. Greg Walters, the rest of the staff sort of chatting it up, and looks like right now they're not going to use it yet. This group that's out there probably will sit for one shift and then go right back out, and that's where they might then double up, be out there for a bit, and then get the timeout and put them right back out. Right off the draw, McKeish. And that's deflected out of play as Bax got a piece of that one. This is one of those games that's been all hands on deck for the Sarnia Sting. Pretty much everyone in the lineup contributing, whether it's blocking a shot, getting in the lane, winning a one-on-one battle, delivering a hit. Pickle knocked off the puck. Here's Easton Wallows with a chance, and that's knocked away. Backs. Here's Hurt. Reese. Pickle. Content to move it around the boards. Nobody in that near corner for the Sting. Woodall. Reese goes after it, chops at it. Garden jumps on the puck, trying to set up Belchez. Instead, it stays behind the net. Reese. Hall pokes it out to center ice. Costanzo looking to the bench. Davis winds it back up. Davis gains the red line, dumps it back in. Costanzo goes to the bench for the extra attacker. And then look out, a stick came up into the face of Davis by Carson Hall. And it looks like it's going to be another Windsor power play. Be a 2-minute minor to Hall for the high stick. So Hall got that high stick into the face of Cole Davis. Watch 10 Sarnia. Got the stick up high on Davis. Timeout Windsor. So Spitfires have themselves a power play. See the Windsor staff in there. And those names you see, Nesbitt, Belchez, Spellacy, Garden. Cristoforo, you'll know they'll be out there on this power play. Costanzo on the bench for the extra attacker, so 6-on-4 skaters on the ice. Looks like faceoff will be to the right of Quinlan. We mentioned the names of the Spitfires. We saw them on the bench. Woodall was the other one. Wallows leans in for the draw. Young, Fisher, and Pickle rounded out here. Nesbitt had to be careful. Got the stick on that puck off the draw. Here's Davis. Down low, centering feed, scores! Anthony Cristoforo from the bad angle, able to slide it home. Power play goal for the Windsor Spitfires, and this game is tied 2-2. Spitfires set it up right off the faceoff. Cristoforo working that corner right along the ice. The net is empty, and you see Woodall hands it off. Davis and Cristoforo from the bad angle, able to bank it in. The play off the draw works. Cristoforo with his third goal of the season, 10th point of the campaign, and we are tied 2-2 with 1:15 to go in the third period. Sarnia Sting just taking too many penalties in this hockey game to try and keep the Windsor Spitfires off the board on the man advantage, and finally able to capitalize with the extra attacker on the ice. Costanzo was on the bench. Now Nesbitt tries to center it. Kennedy's shot deflected from the front of the net. Houston hurt. The defenseman out there without a stick. Advantage Spitfires here. Kennedy's shot gloved by Quinlan, and that allows the Sting to reset here, as that was still looking like a Windsor power play. Faceoff stays inside the zone. This time to the left of Quinlan. Spitfires send out Spellacy, Harvey, and Garden with Cristoforo and Woodall. Beamish leans in for the Sting. We'll try it again. Brown and Van Volsen, Young and Fisher on the blue line. Controlled by Windsor. Cristoforo gives to Woodall. Woodall blocked by Van Volsen. Ryan Brown looks to go to work, dumps it in. He was short of the red line, so icing against the Sarnia Sting with just shy of 30 seconds remaining. Draw to the right of Quinlan. Same Sting unit out there. Actually, a couple changes on this Sting unit now. Of course, the Sting doing the situation of sending 6 guys out there first, and then somebody's got to come off. Beamish will be replaced. Nesbitt leans in on the draw. He's got Belchez right there with him. It goes back to Woodall. Davis, shot is blocked by Wallows. Belchez keeps it in to Nesbitt. 20 seconds to go in the third. Nesbitt trying to drive his way to the net, goes behind the goal. Drops it back up top. He's got Woodall. Carson Woodall holds on to it, looking to center it. It bounces around towards the front of the net. Knocked down by Mitch Young. Young trying to kill off a few seconds. Looks like the third period will be killed off as Nesbitt will chase him out from behind the net. And that's going to do it. Third period done, and we're not done. We got a little overtime here in Sarnia. All tied 2-2. Shots after regulation, 28-24 for the Windsor Spitfires. But we'll drop 2 skaters, go to a little 3-on-3 overtime here in Sarnia. This is the second time the Sarnia Sting have gone to overtime, and it's in consecutive games. They fell in overtime in London on Saturday. Meantime, for the Windsor Spitfires, their 4th overtime game of the season. They're 1-1 in the 3-on-3, and then they have won a shootout so far this season. So 3-on-3, lots of room to work here. Watching both benches to see who they might throw out to start the 3-on-3. Fisher is skating away from his own bench, so I have a feeling he might be out there. And they switch ends in overtime, so the long change could come into play. Sarnia Sting playing their 9th game of the season, coming into this one 3-4-1 for the Spitfires. This is game 12 of the campaign, 9-1-1 on the season. With all the updates I'm getting, I think we're the last game in the OHL remaining. As my out-of-town feed keeps going off with updates from around other games. Edwards was on the ice. He's been pulled off. So Van Volsen, Fisher, and Young will start for the Sting. 2 defensemen, but both of them certainly not afraid to jump in offensively. Spitfires go with the big guns up front with Nesbitt and Belchez and Cristoforo on the back end. Off the draw, controlled by the Sting. They'll set up here on the 3-on-3. Overtime underway in Sarnia. Fisher scored an overtime winner against Windsor last year. Young tried to center it. Van Volsen. Van Volsen checked off the puck. Nesbitt drops it for Cristoforo. Nesbitt going to the bench. Belchez knocked off the puck. Able to recover. Feeds Cristoforo. Spellisy is on. He replaced Nesbitt. Spellisy looking to break down that left wing side. Spellisy looking to get around Fisher. Spellisy still holding on to it. Cristoforo. Cristoforo holds on to it. Hands it off to Spellisy. Spellisy shot. Whistles that one wide of the net. Comes off the glass. Cristoforo retreats at center ice. Cole Davis gives to Cristoforo. Cristoforo with a shot deflected out of play. 1:09 gone in overtime. No team credited with a shot on goal. Both teams will make changes. Faceoff will be in the Sarnia zone. Brown, Edwards, and Cameron a coin for the Sting. Garden, Harvey, and Woodall for the Windsor Spitfires. Carson Woodall would not mind his first goal of the season coming right about now to add to his 15 assists. Brown waits at the line. Looks to set up Cameron a coin. A coin's chance just wide of the net. Woodall sidesteps a check now. Looks to move it ahead. Garden and Cameron Acoin go back after it. Turned over there. Harvey trying to drive to the net. And Quinlan steers that one away. Ryan Brown working with Edwards. Ryan Brown holds his shot. Costanzo able to grab onto that one as Ryan Brown tried to end it. Brown started in his own end. You see pretty much went coast to coast on this 3-on-3 situation, and then Costanzo able to hold on to it. Draw to the right of Costanzo. Wallows, Young, and Fisher for the Sting. Nesbitt leans back in with Robinson and Belchez. Sting control. Fisher gives to Young. Young back to Fisher. Sting trying to open up some room here. Fisher makes a move. A little extra space to work with right now as they move it around the Windsor zone. Mitch Young, watched closely by Belchez. Dumps it down low. Picked off by Nesbitt, but then Fisher tried to get it away from him. Cleared by Windsor. Belchez at center ice. Hands it back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt again. Plays it off the near boards. Sting direct traffic as Belchez is in there. Belchez. Try to see if they get the Sting to come out of their lanes. Nesbitt replaced by Davis. Davis trying to see if he can get behind the Sarnia defense. He's got a step coming in here. Here's Cole Davis trying to drive to the front of it. Toe drag move, he scores! Beautiful overtime winning goal. Cole Davis off the bench, moves in. Beautiful move to bury it, and the Windsor Spitfires come from behind. 3-2 in overtime. You see Davis came off the bench. He's got room, holds, and buries it. A beautiful move by Cole Davis. Puts the icing on this one, an overtime winning goal for the Windsor Spitfires as they pick up a 3-2 win. The Sting get a point on home ice, but not the result they wanted. The Windsor Spitfires 3-2 in OT. They knock off the Sarnia Sting, the opening game of the home and home between the Spitfires and the Sting. We'll put a wrap on this one on the other side of the break in Sarnia. You're watching the OHL tonight on your TV.
Sarnia Lambton, I am Marlon Gomez, your host for Sarnia Lambton Today. This community is our home, and we can't wait to share local news, stories, and events with you. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on your TV.
You've heard of movies and chill, but do you know about Sarnia's latest trend? It's TV Bingo and Chill. Join in the fun with Seaway Kiwanis TV Bingo. You just never know when you are